We are live. Oh yeah, sorry Clark Kent, you're not back this week. SMC Super Magical Cup Invitational number 8 is live.
Say specifically without Clark Kent.
Yeah, no Clark Kent this week.
I'm sorry.
Best Clash Royale tournament. How about that? That's us, buddy. What's going on, Marcel P? How's it going? We got three jub 3, Draco, John. Oh, look at all these fine folks. Let's pop out the chat so we can continue to talk along with you trolly fine people. All right, we're excited about this one. Number 8, week 8 of the Super Magical Cup. Aha! And the bracket has been updated. It's the first day of the college football season. I'm pretty excited. I'm rooting for my team, and I actually play tomorrow, but that's all right. I play Monday, actually. That's okay. We got the classic simple Sandra Clash Royale in chat.
Nice.
Woo! Recap us last week, Rainey. How was it?
Last week was crazy. We had Clark Kent in here, and we had a crazy tournament. So many things happening. It was especially fortuitous because it was the first tournament we had on the new patch with the new cards, and now everybody's had a little bit more time, and definitely not enough time where I'm convinced that they have their set meta decks, but still a little more time to get more familiar. We saw a ton of Giant Bowler. We saw so many different, surprisingly new kind of, or maybe more fine-tuned Minor decks. It felt like people were still trying to play Minor, and they were just boiling it down to its absolute essentials. Maybe they couldn't let go of their Minor friend, you know?
Right. I was excited by all the new Lumberjack decks. I mean, Lumberjack is such a cool card that having that around, I think, was pretty awesome. I really like the Lumberjack Minor Lava Hound deck that Vizard played to second place. We actually had Marcel P of Reddit Alpha win his first Super Magical Cup title ever, and Vizard and Backstab making back-to-back top 4s. Backstab top 4 the last 2 weeks. Vizard placed second 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Vizard is actually crazy that he stays up so late to play our tournament. He is located in Southeast Asia, and it's like, no joke, 3 in the morning when we're playing this, and he manages to stay up and do really well. So I'd love to see another repeat performance. No one, I believe, aside from Woody, nobody in Super Magical Cup history has ever top-8'd or top-4'd 3 weeks in a row. So we've had a few people go 2. Like, actually, a lot of people go back-to-back top 8s or back-to-back top 4s, but no one's ever done it 3 times, I think, besides Woody. So we're going to be looking at Darth Jar Jar trying to make his 4th top 4 appearance of the entire season. Marcel P, I think, has top 8'd 2 weeks in a row, got his first top 8 2 weeks ago, and then won last week. Vizard is top and got in second place, and Backstab top 4. So there's 3 contenders for 3-time top 8, which is pretty exciting for me.
Yes. The cursed one, of course, is going to be Marcel P. The pressure is on. The
pressure is on. Marcel P, I think, is a pretty strong candidate to be the first back-to-back winner. We've had a very small number of people make back-to-back finals. Clark Kent, Justin for the win, and Vizard. But an Interlol, no, not Interlol. Interlol did a top 4 and then a win the next week. So there's been a lot of good performances, but let's take a look, though. It's funny, week after week, this bracket gets more and more stacked. Like, it's hard to look at it and be like, oh my God, like, but they're playing in the first round, second round, oh God. So, like, let's take a look here. We've got Naruto Uzumaki, who I've seen in quite a bit of the qualifiers, definitely a qualifier regular. G-Sam level 99, same. I've definitely watched them in group play before. Naders is making a big return.
Nader $.
Yeah. Justin for the win, a big tournament player. I guess couldn't make it to Toronto or some of the other big events. Excited to see him in the first round against SMC regular King K.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing to know, too. Of course, the Toronto event is happening this weekend, so a lot of people will be missing.
Yes, it's the largest North American tournament ever. Should be really cool. We are carrying... we wish you could be there, but we're carrying on without... Clyde, Woody, Manufan, a few of the other big-name players are there, but it's even more startling to me how stacked this bracket is despite that. I mean, it's almost like, of course, we will miss them dearly, but it's hard to actually notice their absence given that, Bakalo, Popcorn, several top 8ers are here. ESL Yo, who's top 4 twice this season. Chicken Bob, big player in the qualifiers, got a top 16 last week, and certainly be looking for a breakout performance this week. But he's in the same bracket as both Backstab and Marcel P, who we've mentioned before. This might be a nutty second-round game between I think they played last week as well. No, actually, Marcel P and Backstab did not play last week as Marcel P played ESL Yo in the top 4. So this could be a matchup that we did not see last week in the second round.
Yeah. My heart sank when I looked at Bakalo's deck in the qualifiers and he wasn't running a double Prince deck.
Oh, I hope he still is. Let's see, we've got Zadian and Diego B here, so this would be a pretty strong one here in the first round. Stellarim, T-Bone, Shreddy Wop, who top-8'd last week. Grubby, another... Oh, wow. So Grubby and Vizard in round 2 could also be a great game. Down here, though, there's no slouches either. Patriots 34, a winner 2 weeks ago, might have to meet either Flash or Mini Minter in his third round matchup.
Yeah.
Trainer Chris, also a former finalist, I believe. With Marcus 35, who's also got a top 4 performance under his belt so far. Actually, I believe maybe even a win.
He's got a win.
Yep. Yeah.
He won with giant poison decks.
That's right.
He won with giant poison and trifecta, I believe it was. He was like playing meta decks.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. But Syzygy top-8'd before as well, so look for the upset here in round 1.
Skeleton Army.
That's right. It's playing Skeleton Army. So the matches are just now getting started. I think we can go ahead and jump into it. Let's
get into one of the clans there.
Yeah. Oh, are we not? Oh, we're currently not in one of the clans. You're right.
We're in the Big Boys clan.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and join up SMC Qualifier A. Or not Qualifier. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Doink.
Yep.
Request join.
Yep.
Look at this who's who list of good players here.
Interested to see what Giant Skeleton deck Naders is running today.
I wonder if he's still playing Giant Skeleton. I know that's definitely one of his...
He seems to really be trying hard to make it work.
Yeah, let's put that screen blocker up. Boop. And we've got all of our featured cards updated as well, so they'd actually reflect the new stats. That's my bad. Last week, the balance update went up on Wednesday, and I didn't update all those graphics by last week. But this week, they will all look totally correct. Well, while we're waiting to get into this here clan, doink, 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 let's go ahead and take a look back at this bracket. I'm looking forward to... God, what games will we be watching here in Group A? I want to catch the round 1 Naders match. Justin for the win. Definitely Bakalo. ESL Yo.
Make sure we get Backstab and Marcel if they make it, or whichever one makes it to the second round.
You're right. I definitely want to keep an eye on Macta here. Macta has, I think, top-8'd before, but is a loyal Golem player, as you can see by the icon. I really hope that he's playing Golem again this week. If you're real good, let us in.
Yeah. Please.
Can you go check,
please, sir,
with our admin and make sure let's all in?
All right, let's squeeze out of here.
Squeeze that. Eek, eek, eek. See what's going on in chat. We're gonna keep up with everyone. Elite Gaming taking it home, says Esley7 in chat. Can't wait to see that Marcus versus Trainer Chris match. King K says, yay, I'm facing Justin for the win. You probably shouldn't be excited about that one. That buddy has won several tournaments. He's won a SuperMagicalCup. He won the Vegas live tournament. Very, very solid player. It's actually, we don't see him that often in the SuperMagicalCup, so it's very awesome to see him this week. Guess not everyone can make it to Toronto. I wish I was there too. All right, we're in the clan. So let's go ahead and see. It looks like the first games are being played now. They certainly are. So we will start going to the live broadcast of the game here very shortly. We've got Marcus P and Giannis. Let's go ahead and start this one off, just as a fun little live spectating event. Doink, doink. This will be the first game that we watch while we let the matches from round 1 finish up, and then we'll be doing match previews shortly after that.
Boy.
And right off the bat, Giannis comes in hard with a 3 Musketeers deck. I really like the 3 Musketeers variant we've been seeing recently. It's such a fun deck, and it's so different from a lot of the other archetypes in the game that I've loved seeing it blossom in this tournament scene.
Knight 3 Musketeer. Knight 3 Musketeer.
Let's see. Let's get them. Put 3 Musketeers up at the top.
Let's do it.
Wait, where are they? Oh no.
TTT 3.
Huh?
It's
not in.
There's bottom. Just go down.
Oh yeah. Weird.
There we go.
Couldn't find it for a second. There we go.
Ooh, fireball. Fireball. All right. Minor 3 Musketeer plus Knight and 1 Musketeer or 2 Musketeers on one side. Fairly good defense. fairly good defense.
Oh, I switched the wrong one. That's why.
But one musketeer gets. Oh no, Ice Spirit. Psych. Ice Spirit is such a great defense against a musketeer. It's kind of like a 1 for 4, but the musketeer does get one shot. You gotta click it on.
It is on. I'm talking about the red one.
Oh.
Weird. Sorry, I'm like. Doink, doink, doink. It's on. Refresh. And then it's not going on. Blue one goes on. Weird. We'll figure that one out later. Why do we have tech problems every single week? No. So yeah, musketeers are such hard cards to deal with because even though there's a lot of answers to deal with a single musketeer, something like Fire Spirits, Ice Spirit, Mini P.E.K.K.A., something like that, it's really hard to deal with 2 musketeers because their high DPS can actually rattle away some of those answers quickly. So you have to have an answer for the single musketeer on the right. Whoa, look at that fireball value. That took, at least 7 pumps away for 4 elixir. That's a pretty hard value to top. But fireballing leaves it open for Giannis to play his 3 musketeers.
Well, Marcel P got the fireball and the poison.
I really like that angle of trying to play both fireball and poison because so many decks are trying to do both. But look at that, both Ice Spirit and Fire Spirits get completely wrecked.
Miner takes down the collector, so they're both trying to punish their collectors as much as they can. But Giannis is getting a little bit of extra damage on each of those towers every time he plays some elixir, whereas Marcel P is still looking for a breakthrough push, I feel like. He can't seem to push past the Inferno Tower, which is interesting. If we look at Marcel P's deck, it almost looks a little spell cycly. Look at that final deck list. He's got Bowler and Ice Wizard maybe as the 2 cards that move across the map. Other than that, he's got Spirits, and then he's got Poison Fireball. I don't feel... This deck is weird.
Yeah, I like the redundancy of the Fireball Poison. It actually looks a lot like a Siege deck to me because he's got the Inferno Tower and the Elixir Collector to invest huge amounts of Elixir and defend. And I don't know if you've played against a lot of Bowlers over the last week, but Bowler is an unbelievable defensive card. You may not win with Bowler, but it's really hard to lose with Bowler. So what I see here is a deck that really wants to punish a collector-heavy meta, a princess-heavy meta, a meta where people are trying to build up these giant pushes behind their king tower.
That's not a good way to play their 3 musketeers.
Oh, but the fireball takes them out.
Yeah, that's not a good way to play your 3 musketeers. The bowler got every single one of them with a splash, and the fireball took them out.
Not only crushes the fire spirits behind as well, but is going to be really good at keeping this miner away.
So again, I think the big thing for Marcel P, and he's been doing pretty well, keeping that tower down about even. It's 1.2k versus 1.3k on that left side tower, and as long as he has excuses to keep spell cycling that left side tower, and I don't even know if Giannis has kind of recognized the fact that this is a possibility where he is actually getting spell cycled right here.
And like what he needs to start doing is quit playing his collectors in the middle there. It's obvious by now that it's not, it's not a miner deck. So he's gonna put the poison down now, right? Yeah. Oh, maybe slow. Oh, there. Oh, it's a little behind though. It's not gonna do that much damage. They're just gonna walk right out of it. But he needs the damage on their tower. Ooh, I like the hold. Oh, I like that hold too because the miner's ultimately not gonna do that much damage. But you're right, like, Giannis needs to be playing his collector in the top right. No. Not there.
Yeah.
Watch, fireballed again. Boom.
Yeah. Any excuse that Marcel P has.
Yeah.
He has 2 spells, just do it. He has 2 spells and 2 spirits.
And this is a great detail between kind of good players and great players here is Giannis really needs to adapt and to Marcel P's strategy and not just keep doing what he's doing. You normally want to play those collectors in the middle because you're afraid of miner, but it's established this is not a miner deck. You need to switch up and not give him those easy things. If it was behind the 2,300 health tower, Marcel would actually have to really decide, is this good or not?
Wow. Good decision making on Marcel P because those fire spirits would have done a lot of damage. I think if
might
all
have been
3 of
lethal.
them, if all 3 of them had splashed, it would have been the end of the match.
Oh no! I don't know how much health is going to be left on that tower.
No! You need to stop that. You need to stop that.
The bowler, great block, and actually the bowler should be able to hold off for a little bit.
And he needs time, at least 8 elixir. If he does 8 elixir, then it's the time between. Oh no!
No, he needs to zap it. No, Giannis pulls it out. I'm a scrub. Oh my God. Wow, good game, Giannis pulling out a surprise upset from Marcel P. I didn't expect that at all. I really thought Marcel P was doing a great job with the spell cycling there on the towers.
The one push really hurt. And I think a lot of it came down to the fact that the 2 musketeers coming down the side, I almost would have preferred, now that I'm thinking about it, hindsight is 20/20, right? But now that I'm thinking about it, I think Marcel P should have been poking the tower with the poison and then defending with the fireball. because he had to end up poisoning the 2 musketeers on the right side.
Okay.
And then while they were dying, they just killed off his Ice Wizard in combination with the Knight. It was Knight 2 musketeers that shot down the Ice Wizard really quick. If he had fireballed, then he wouldn't have had to deal with his 2 musketeers at all. And it would have just been a Knight versus an Ice Wizard. And they ended up, and the Ice Wizard would have persisted and forced Giannis to spend more elixir defending.
Yeah, there's definitely... I don't really have any disagreement with any of that. I think he was really smart to run the double fireball thing, but it was 3 Musketeers put you in a challenging situation because you have to have one of these 2 cards, and usually you'd rather have the fireball over the poison for, the kind of instant damage and the knockback reasons too, because that interrupts their attack in a way that poison doesn't. Ooh, all right.
We have a guy in the chat, Problematic R says, I keep saying holy shit and getting timed out every time I watch this. I'm saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta self-censor. Problematic. I know some of these games are incredible. That was a great game to open up with. Yeah. Now let's check out this game. Chicken Bob is a big player in the qualifiers, and we've got a really cool matchup here, I think. So
the return of spell cycling? Is this going to be the theme of this week? Are we back? Has Super Magical Cup come full circle?
Come full circle back to spell cycles?
Super Magical Cup was created from the ashes of spell cycling, and now we have returned to our origins.
It wouldn't shock me if that became a popular shift in the meta just this week, because so many people are relying on big bowler pushes, elixir collectors, even 3 Musketeers sitting way behind their tower. It wouldn't surprise me if the meta shifts a little bit to be like, all right, you know what? If that's what you want to do, we're going to punish you for that. You know what I mean? We're going to play decks and strategies that really try to hit you behind your crown towers with spells and other defensive things. I really like this. I mean, this looks really similar to what the deck we just saw, basically, in terms of what it's trying to do. And honestly, I heard that Turtwig Data, he of Expo Lightning fame, is playing a Rocket Cycle deck recently in the Reddit Alpha clan. So if Turtwig Data is playing this week, which I didn't see him in the bracket, he might be skipping out. But Rocket Cycle might be coming back in the meta. You don't know. I think if Springtrap wants to win this game, though, he's got a pretty good deck to do it, because P.E.K.K.A. doesn't die to Rocket, and Dark Prince has the shield. So I can see Springtrap being able to build up large pushes with the P.E.K.K.A. behind the King Tower and really go for it. And of course, not playing Elixir Collector, it gives him a lot of... it's not as vulnerable to Rocket, right? Because you don't have a very easy Rocket target.
Yeah, man, ever since, and I guess this might be, we can go ahead and start the game, but we talked about certain things thinking about Mirror. I think as spell cycling becomes more and more popular, Mirror is a card that you might want to start looking into. I think it does need some adjusting, but it's super interesting to think about the fact that when we talked about it with Clark Kent here, if you had a mirror that gave you a little stronger of a card for a little more cost, right? 1 elixir more, you can do things like back-to-back Fireball or Rocket people. And that changed the dynamic of spell cycling a lot, right? Yeah,
I'm really excited that... I hope that there's a mirror buff in the future, because mirror is a card that I think uniquely enables new deck types, kind of like how 3 Musketeers enables this totally new style of play. I'd love to see... mirror control decks be viable. And yeah, I agree with you that like some sort of fireball or rocket. Whoa! Now that seems kind of greedy, right? That's a 6 elixir rocket to a 3 elixir ice wizard, but when you consider there's really no way to get rid of an ice wizard on the opponent's side of the board, you can kind of look at it as, all right, I'm going to remove the ice wizard 3 for 3, but I also have to buy 3 elixir for what, 500 damage to the tower? It's not a great value, but it's something.
So he just used guards to defend against Prince. That's kind of like a 3 for 2, or rather
3 for 5. Yeah,
2 elixir advantage. 2 elixir advantage. So he's kind of already bought back essentially all the elixir that he could want.
I think that's one of the smartest things about spell cycling decks is we know that you need to get an elixir advantage and convert that elixir advantage into damage onto their towers. Most people prefer hogs and giants as a way to do that, but spells are the most direct, most reliable way to do it. They're just lower damage than what troops can do.
P.E.K.K.A. 2-shot the bowler, and the bowler does about wet noodles worth of damage to the P.E.K.K.A.
I am already a bit worried for Springtrap here because I play P.E.K.K.A. double Prince on the ladder and in tournaments, and it's like a really strong deck, but when they have Zap and Guards and Inferno Tower, you're kind of in bad shape because the Zap can interrupt the Prince's charges, the Guards obviously block and gum up everything in front, and the whole time the Inferno Tower will just wear you out.
Yep. And I think it's really interesting because the OP deck of old relied a lot on a very long duration freeze.
Yes.
Which was able to push down Inferno Towers and defensive structures, and even despite using zaps to stop Prince charges, the freeze lasted so long that P.E.K.K.A would just swing and swing and swing, and the huge DPS just would clear everything out, and then the Princes would continue their charge and go towards the tower. But now, freeze is not really a thing.
Right. And actually, Ice Spirit has mostly replaced it, but I think that there is an opening for people to play freeze. Like I play freeze in my P.E.K.K.A double Prince deck almost solely for these Inferno Tower decks. Because when people go like Inferno Tower Ice Wizard, your push is done and over with unless you can freeze it all right away and then get your big heavy hitters up to the melee range where they clear out all these things.
Clear minutes. Oh no.
Oh, and yeah, I think Springtrap, I don't know if I think he's just making a mistake here, unfortunately. But if Springtrap wants to get around those Inferno Towers, the best way to do it is to drop the minions at the river in the center as the P.E.K.K.A is crossing, because the Inferno Tower will lock onto them first and spend much more time going through them.
Yes. Oh, and that is kind of a free. That's a
free
bad
Prince.
Position for free Prince, bad position for the Inferno Tower. But I actually don't think Springtrap. I think he's already lost the match just because of the fact that Chicken Bob could get to this point and have Rocket in his deck.
Yeah, and once you hit 2 Elixir time, I actually think these Inferno Tower decks are in a really strong position because it's that much easier to get 2 Inferno Towers out, right? You can always cycle back to it. Even though they can build up bigger pushes. If this was like Cannon, for example, I don't think Cannon's really good in double Elixir time, but I do think Inferno Tower decks
I agree.
really are.
Oh, no!
There it is. 1 poison away from victory. Darn, darn,
There we
darn.
go.
And the deck is so slow. I mean, P.E.K.K.A double Prince is a very good 3-crown deck. It builds up these big, overwhelming waves, but you're not going to take anyone down with only 30 seconds to go.
It's very interesting because that bowler is absolutely terrible against the P.E.K.K.A. And I wonder almost if it's just... I really think the card cycle was super important in that match. If there was one thing that I would analyze about that match, it isn't even really necessarily... I'm not actually convinced that the deck is impossible to beat with P.E.K.K.A double Prince. I think card cycling is something that Springtrap is going to have to investigate.
We got a deck we have to watch.
Oh my god, look at the levels on those cards. It's disgusting.
Wow. I mean, I just picked it because it was a 4 horseman deck. Okay, so this is actually a pretty interesting matchup. We did a deck spotlight on the SuperMagicalCup YouTube channel, which is, hey, good reminder, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, go check it out, SuperMagicalCup.com. We're one of the fastest growing YouTube channels, and Supercell the other day just tweeted out some of our videos, our History of the Meta series. So we're really doing our best to try to make great content for you guys. Go check it out. This deck that you're seeing played by Makta, we featured as a Bakalo, Apex Predator deck called 4 Horsemen, which is, it's running double Princes, right? The 2 charging units, but then also 2 other fast melee attackers, Mini P.E.K.K.A and Lumberjack, and all of them combined just create this sort of overwhelming counterattacky sort of deck. Parzival is playing a classic deck of the metagame, the Triangle Defense Trifecta deck, where he's going to rely on playing Elixir Collector. Actually, both decks are going to be pumping up a lot, right? So both decks will be playing Elixir Collector, but the difference is that actually they're both counterattacky decks. These have the same strategy. They're both going to want to pump up. They're both going to want the other player to attack and then counter those attacks very well on defense, generating Elixir advantageous counterattacks. So with Parzival, he's going to want to block with Valkyrie, Musketeer, Ice Spirits, and then counterattack with a Hog Rider. Makta is going to want to defend with, I believe, Ice Spirit, maybe Prince and Dark Prince, and then counterattack with Lumberjack and Princess to help get that damage.
So I actually think that Makta's deck is a little bit favored just in terms of strategy because Princess is a great card to force your opponent's hand. There's just nothing does that better than the Princess.
That's actually a really key. I mean, like, I don't even know what you're going to put up here, so let's go ahead and put Princess up there for Makta, because I think you're right actually that if Makta can use the Princess as haha, like you have to attack into me, then that allows Makta to control the tempo of the game and to take down Parzival. But those card levels are pretty gross. I mean, it's a level 2 Dark Prince and a level 3 Prince. No! I hope it doesn't come down to card levels.
Somebody send the man some gems.
Now, actually, I think a big advantage here, though, is that I play this deck. I play this 4 Horseman deck. It's not very good against Hog Rider. So let's keep an eye on the Hog Rider because you don't have Cannon in the deck at all.
Every time the Hog Rider is played, unless you play a significant amount of Elixir, which you might justify because the Hog Rider won't do damage to your units, the Hog Rider is probably going to get a swing, right?
Right. That's the problem, is that they can rely on Hog Rider to get a swing nearly every time they play it, unless you like perfectly place a Mini P.E.K.K.A and they have nothing else coming in the push, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Now, Magda was in the unfortunate situation of not being able to start with a collector. But we'll see if he converts, if he tries to punish. No, he's actually going to... He's essentially,
that's
like
counterattack. And he's going for the trifecta push right now. He's got the hog. Oh, here we go. 12 elixir coming right in.
Oh, boy. Stop the hog right in. This is what we're talking about. One swing,
hit,
2 swings.
Two swings.
Almost
3, but stops at 2 because, I mean, the lumberjack is about as good as a mini packer,
and
right?
that's super worth it because look at what's left on the table.
Yeah, how much did he spend? 8 on defense against a 12?
Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, when you place an elixir collector, you think, okay, how much damage am I going to take for this collector? In Parzival's situation, it was... I did a bunch of damage and got my collector down.
And they're about even. I mean, the lumberjack, even though the rage was wasted, did get up there and swing twice, which brings the towers pretty close to even.
Yeah.
And here we go. We see a double prince charge coming in with princess and ice wizard to guard against minions.
No, they're unit chasers. That cannon's not going to help. Oh my god. Oh, it got pulled by the single ice spirit, so helped a little bit.
So while that push was kind of neutral on both sides, they're about elixir even here, except Parzival could probably get out a third pump if he really wanted to.
Parzival's cycle has been incredible, but he's actually choosing to go on the aggressive, which might work out. This is the flexibility of the trifecta, of the triangle defense.
Oh, wow. It's not looking good so far for Magda. I mean, that, Mini P.E.K.K.A comes in, but he was able to not only do a ton of damage with the hog, but that collector is gone, right? Like,
fantastic analysis of kind of the combat situation.
Yeah,
I think I would have played the collector, but Parzival identified that this is a key point where I can press and do a lot of damage and did a lot of damage.
Yeah, Magda had just placed a collector, so I think he thought, all right, do I want to pump up or do I want to take this opening? And I think given how well Magda's deck is at countering telegraphed openings, going in when he's least able to defend is very, very important.
Yeah.
But it looks like Parzival in that push also let his collector kind of go away, and now they're back to even again.
One swing.
Ooh, and even with the... So the poison adds on, but that would have been actually the same with or without the poison.
Yeah. Maybe... So... The Mini P.E.K.K.A will die before reaching the tower. Now double prince on the right, plus the lumberjack, and this could hurt a lot.
That's a big push.
This could actually hurt a lot because here comes the rage, and I think it might be a range of the prince. No, the princess is just out of range of the rage.
Oh, you're right, she is. I was just noticing that the dark prince got zapped before actually getting to pull off his thing. With only 246 left, I think Parzival probably has this one in the bag, unfortunately. Here comes that hog rider down. Oh, Mini P.E.K.K.A swings once. And that...
Nice. Yeah, if it starts its animation, it will finish it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that about Mini P.E.K.K.A. Yeah. And now with the... Oh, this is a huge opening, actually, because now that cannon's down. That cannon has been well used. Oh, and the freeze gets in. Here comes Dark Prince and Lumberjack to hit the tower. That Musketeer is only hit on the one. Look at the Lumberjack go. 3, 4, one more hit. Oh, my God, with the zap as overtime starts. Magda pulls it out. What an opening. We talked about how Parzival was able to key in on that opening mid-game, but Magda, noticing that the cannon was used to defend against that Mini P.E.K.K.A, knew that his prince opening was there, sends in both princes with the lumberjack, and the lumberjack swings at that 0.7 attack speed a quick 5-6 times to knock down Parzival's tower. Whoa!
Oh my god. You know, I've actually seen this so many times as an avid Hog Rider player myself, just because I like beatdown kind of decks, and Trifecta's not beatdown, but concepts still hold for the card, right?
Yeah.
Hog is a beatdown card.
Absolutely.
It's an aggressive card. The problem there was the hand that Parzival had was Hog Rider, Poison, Zap, and I think it was Collector. So at that point, I think your thought process can't be like, oh god, I'm just going to have to cycle some really bad cards on defense and hope that it works out. Your thought has to be, well, this is a lost cause. I need to send in my Hog to kill his 200 health tower. And I think that should have been the Elixir commitment, because you lost that situation. You need to make sure you can continue your lifeline in the game. In that moment, you need to remember that, okay, it's not defense then offense at this point. You just need to go on offense while they're killing your tower. And so I really feel like the winning play for Parzival there in that situation was actually to play the Hog. Play the Hog at the river so that the princes would attempt to charge towards it but not hit the Hog Rider as it jumps across the river. Walk over to the left side tower and take that down. There was no way out of that situation because with Hog, Poison, Zap in your hand, you're not stopping a double Prince push that's already at your tower.
Yeah, that's a good point. Woo, buddy. All right, so we have to take a look at this game because look at this deck. It's been a long time since we saw a lot of Royal Giants in the Super Magical Cup.
It's back.
Well, I don't know if it's back yet, but look at this double spawner variant. So I'm looking at this very interesting deck. It's Barbarian Hut, Goblin Hut, Barbarians. Now, I love...
It's spawner and Royal Giant.
I know. I like, actually, the Barbarian Hut, Barbarians combo. I've played that deck on the ladder. It's a lot of fun. There's very few things that are more fun than dropping like 6-8 Barbarians all at once at an opponent, but the Royal Giant seems really expensive, and I'm not sure how this deck is going to defend itself. Naders is running the Minor Inferno control deck that's been so popular recently in the tournaments.
Yeah.
This deck grinds you out with Minor, Fire Spirits, maybe counterattacking mini P.E.K.K.A.s. No poison, though, which is really key, I think, not only in doing lots of damage, but without poison, how are you going to fight the spawner decks?
And especially when you're playing a deck that is defensive-oriented, which Nader's deck certainly is.
Absolutely.
You're basically sitting back and saying, "Oh, I'll just wait for you to do something," and the spawner deck is like, "Really?"
Yeah, you're right. Like, stylistically, spawner decks should match up really well against these Minor Inferno control decks. They don't run Princess a lot of the times, and if they don't run Princess, then how do they beat spawners? Well, they got to rely on poison, but because you're only really playing spawners and nothing else, and you always have Barbarians there to punish them if they waste their poison, I'll be interested to see how this plays out. A Minor Inferno control has been a little bit of a villain, I think, for a lot of people watching. It's sort of reminiscent of the spell cycle decks, given how grindy and slow and it is, that I think people would like to see a deck that maybe can beat it.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh,
the Barbarians actually defend their own hut.
Right. Wow. Go Barbs.
Protect our homes.
The Barbarian squad up front survives pretty well intact. I think they're going to reach the tower unless he does something, and Fire Spirits is definitely something.
Yeah. All right, but look to see once we hit double elixir phase, because that's when Rigos will really be able to start pumping out troops.
I mean, Naders is doing a good job by pumping up twice, but I don't know if an elixir collector deck is actually even better than a spawner deck once you get into double elixir time.
Yep. Elixir Collector is not... So spawner decks give you a very tangible result, right? Where they will pump out troops for you. Elixir Collector pumps out Elixir, which is intangible. You need to convert that into something useful. And so it doesn't matter, almost in this situation, you can have all the Elixir in the world, but if you're still...
I'm sorry, the Zap retargeted the Musketeer off of the mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh, man, that could have gotten real ugly for that mini P.E.K.K.A. Or for that Goblin Hut, really. And great for the mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, the mini P.E.K.K.A. would be thrilled.
Great timing on Zap by Naders right there. You can see that there's a lot of really good technical micro play there in order to get the most out of his pushes. That mini P.E.K.K.A. was only a few more seconds from taking out a 5 elixir building.
We'll see, we'll see.
Ice Wizard are doing great work here on defense. It's a huge hit point pool, even after being nerfed, is something to behold.
Concerning... Oh, here comes the Royal Giant. Now, I wonder if that signals a change in strategy of some sort. If Rigos identifies, like, now is the time that I want to change up my play, because I would think that up until that point you would want to be cycling spawners.
Has he shown the Inferno Tower yet?
He has not,
because that'll be huge here. I mean, I think it's smart to have all those things in front, but even then, just like an Inferno Tower with very little. Ooh, and he goes and hits the Collector as well. But I think there with that Ice Spirit, that's done. Great defense there on the Royal Giant. I don't know if Rigos is going to be able to rely on that Royal Giant as a key to victory. And again, the Barbarians defend their hut. Not in my house, they say.
Yeah, you have to wait. You have to wait if you're the minor player, because the instant the huts get placed down, they will spawn a set of units. So you know when that first set is coming out. You have to be patient and make sure you don't aggro the Barbarians.
Right.
And here it comes. This is
wow.
Yeah, this is becoming problematic. Now, spirits are a great choice for splash. Very, very cheap splash, in fact, to handle these huts. But if you get zapped at the wrong time, or if there's a log coming down the lane and you play your spirits into them.
What's going to get in the front of that Inferno Tower? I was thinking that, like, you can really feel the lack of poison in this deck right now.
God.
Like, when have you ever wanted to poison something more than this pull? Oh, God, it's coming in. Oh, no, look at the Fire Spirits.
Screenshot it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness.
A reminder, if you want to play Minor Inferno Control, probably need poison. Like, that was incredible. Rigos, wow. Ouch.
Well, that was certainly interesting.
That was definitely, and I agree that maybe the strategy there would have been to counter push, go down the other lane, something like that.
Yeah, typically against spawners, that's what you do. But the question is, the big thing about Nader's deck and the big thing about Minor Control is that you really don't have cards that can on-demand do damage. Like, okay, are you going to tell me that Minor is going to do damage to you? I would laugh.
Yeah, like, nah.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything. And then you have a mini P.E.K.K.A, which kind of walks really slowly and is not a good card on offense, especially if you don't have the supporting cards. And what is your supporting card? It's a miner, right? So it's like, even if he chose to push down the other lane, what is he really going to do it with, you know?
Yeah, it's his deck. That's the downside of playing a really like control hard left control deck is you don't have a lot of offense, and that's actually what makes Siege stylistically such a nightmare matchup for you. Is because Siege is saying, "Hey, I'm putting down an Expo, I'm putting down a Mortar, I'm putting down spawner decks. You have to come to me if you want to not lose to this." And that deck's like, well, I can only attack with a miner and like fire spirits. Like there's like nothing in the deck that really generates a serious attack. You're right. Yeah. So this is actually a great matchup here, and I think round 1 or round 2 between two players who have both top 8'd once before, but not gone farther than that. This week, both G-Sam and Level 99 are looking through a breakthrough performance. Let's take a look at this game. We've got Three Musketeers versus, I believe, another Miner Inferno Control.
Well,
no, actually just Miner Cycle.
Actually a Miner Hog. So what's interesting to me, so Level 99 is playing a Three Musketeer with double mini tank, right? And then cycle cards. He's just playing very cheap, very cycle, very good split pushing Three Musketeer stuff.
Yeah.
G-Sam is playing a deck that is defensive, kind of, I guess, in the same vein of a control hog deck, where you will play defense and then punish your opponent's lack of elixir with a Hog Rider. And I think this deck is very different than what we just saw, just in the sense that now you have a little bit more pressure on your opponent. Ice Spear Hog Rider is a fantastic combo. Ice Spear Hog Rider is like, probably the introduction of the Ice Spirit card. Yeah, the introduction of the Ice Spirit card, I think, is what really, really brought Hog Riders back.
Yes, I can agree with that.
So I think G-Sam has a lot of kind of potential aggression in his pocket that he can utilize here.
Now, G-Sam has the poison, but as we've mentioned before in a lot of our spotlights on Three Musketeer decks, poison's popularity is part of the reason why Three Musketeers is good. Because you'd rather Fireball and instantly get rid of them to have to drag them through where they have low hit. Yeah, see,
no. Oh my god.
Already, things are not going so hot for G-Sam early in this game.
Ouch.
But he did get a pump down. I guess he's going to get a handful of pumps out of it.
Miner took a few swings at that pump, too.
Ooh, and this Princess might actually survive here. She does!
Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard is that kid in high school that shoots spitballs. That's about the equivalent of his damage that
you can see, what's G-Sam going to do here? I guess he would mini P.E.K.K.A with Miner, maybe Hog with Miner. The problem is he can't, well, how are you going to kill that Princess, right? Like, the Hog Miner doesn't actually kill the thing that is sitting there shooting at his tower nonstop. The displacement actually might even be worse by having it attack your attack.
So it's interesting.
Ooh, I mean, that splash.
Ideally, you would like it to be the other way where the Miner is tanking for the Hog Rider, but they tank for each other, so the Miner actually got a few extra swings there. And we know that Miner on its own does about 500. That Miner probably did 550, maybe even 600. It was a pretty decent counter push.
Now let's see if these guards are going to come down.
Gotta play.
Oh, I think on the wrong side there. But actually, no, I guess I'm wrong. No, that mini P.E.K.K.A did a great job. But he spent 8 elixir there on the left side to counter probably less than 8 elixir spent by level 99.
Yep. And really, you see the effects of it because now G-Sam, okay, Hog Ice Spear is a very cheap combination, but G-Sam has little elixir to play a safe push. And ideally, off of defeating a Three Musketeer push, you really want to counterattack.
Ooh, kind of risky play there by level 99 to put the Elixir Collector behind his weaker tower, because that's a pretty good poison. But maybe he's trying to bait that poison out so that he doesn't have it for the Three Musketeers. Here they come right by the river. Oh, and the guards are already played. They're probably going to get split up and picked off. This is what really makes me appreciate... Oh, great freeze! That really makes me appreciate Valkyrie in the Trifecta deck. Valkyrie gives you such a great built-in answer for some of these cards. And that Collector goes down, and will the Miner get a few shots on the tower? He will, and the poison takes out Princess, but leaves the Three Musketeers open.
Oh, God. All right, let's see what happens. And this is getting to be in that bad situation that we were talking about. You have Hog in your hand, but you need to play defense.
Oh, wow. Oh, and the Miner comes out, and the mini P.E.K.K.A swings one more time. Oh, no, the mini P.E.K.K.A gets blocked, actually. And just like that, level 99, who was behind in tower health, is quickly pulling into the lead.
So this is the bad thing when you are the Hog player and you are in the under part of kind of the Elixir collection, because you can't play your Hog Rider, and that ends up being a dead card in your hand.
Does Hog go? Oh no! With 1 second left going into overtime, the Hog, the guards! Oh wow, G-Sam pulls it back. Great counter. Look how low his health was. His left tower was at 182 damage. He really knew how to absorb as much of that push as possible. kind of take the 800 damage and save the elixir and convert that into a counter-attacking hog and able to pull that out. Yeah. These games have been great. Have we seen a single bad game yet?
I'm not sure.
Wow.
Really embracing the idea that at some point, Hog Riders, you just need to take the damage to reset the situation and make sure that you're constantly pushing that Hog Rider out of your hand.
Right.
A lot of times, like we saw in for Parzival, he kept his Hog Rider too long and ended up not having the advantage of having this aggressive card constantly cycling and doing damage, and then had bad defense because he just didn't have the deck slot, or rather the card slot, to play good cards on defense. So I really like the fact that what's his face was thrown at his Hog Rider.
Yeah, Hog Riders really made a comeback the last few weeks. It's been pretty impressive here. So let's take a look. We've got ESL Yo versus Brian RT. I think the key thing here actually might be this Inferno Tower of Brian RT. We saw earlier how tough it was. Oops, wrong side. Change this one to Inferno Tower. And then we'll put, probably the P.E.K.K.A. in the... Actually, I think the key here might be, can ESL Yo, who top forward last week with this P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck, can he free up his Prince to hit the Inferno Tower? Because a Prince is a great counter to Inferno Tower. It just hits, takes over half its health away, and knocks it right out. Yeah. If he can't do that, if the Prince gets gummed up by guards, Ice Spirit, Zaps, what have you, that Inferno Tower can stop all of this push right away. I'm somewhat afraid of ESL Yo not having really a lot of anti-air, but Brian RT's deck is not the one that's going to take advantage of that. There's no air in his deck either.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see. Bowler is... So what's interesting to me immediately now is that we haven't seen a single giant bowler deck. All the bowlers that have been included have been in now very, very defensive Inferno Tower related decks that are really chippy, spell cycly, or, you know, really not looking to make a big giant push, but rather looking to do bowler for defense and just stall for time and then do little amounts of damage. And I think this kind of risk-adverse play is really, really kind of... The tournament system kind of incentivizes that a little bit. You know, you want to play risk-adverse in a tournament.
Yeah. I actually think there have been a little bit more giant bowler decks out there because we're clicking through the games and trying to pick interesting ones to watch. And you know what? You're pointing out that maybe I'm being a little too biased with the game picker and not picking the standard games. Okay, great defense there. Yeah. Using the Prince to defend that Elixir Collector. That bowler is not going to be a great defender because neither of those Princes get knocked back. But, hit it. Does it? Oh, it doesn't. It gets blocked by an Ice Spirit. And that could be a huge difference there because now that Prince has to sit there and eat Inferno Tower and bowler and tower shots. That Ice Spirit, that one Elixir Ice Spirit by Brian RT probably saved, no joke, 1,000 damage between the Inferno Tower and the main tower.
Absolutely. Ooh, 2 guards get splashed. But now he has to turn around.
Great guard placement. I mean, surrounding them completely counters that guard.
Yep.
I think the bowler is actually not going to be very key in this matchup because of how actually kind of loosely ineffective it is. I like the pushback there, the great placement of the Prince to save a few pumps on that collector.
So I wonder if ESL Yo is thinking of playing his P.E.K.K.A. more like a Golem, and where he's just focusing on Elixir Collector for the first 2 minutes, and then once it goes into double Elixir, then he's going to start spending time investing into a P.E.K.K.A. kind of play. Yeah,
that's probably the correct way to play the deck, unless they are something like a giant bowler deck where you can play the P.E.K.K.A. right in front. Yeah. Unless they give you a really... Actually, P.E.K.K.A. on defense is also very good against double Prince decks. Yeah. So if ESL Yo were to go up against that sort of Bakalo, the Four Horsemen style deck, you would actually be playing it pretty early. Because for 7... Oh, no, is it going to hit again? You know, I don't like that ESL Yo is playing all of his collectors in the back corners, things like that, because, I mean, he knows that it's a minor deck by now. He's seen 2 to 3 minors. I feel like he should have adapted and switched his Elixir Collector to more of a middle placement.
Let's see. It feels like ESL Yo let that collector go and let that miner go in order to gain him the opportunity to play the P.E.K.K.A. Let's find out if it's worth it. Princess coming down the left side, going to get frozen up, and his charge reset. That
Prince is done, which is unfortunate because now the P.E.K.K.A. is just crossing the river. Really great timing by Brian RT to make sure that the attacks are spread out.
Wow, the P.E.K.K.A. is just out of range of the Inferno Tower.
But the guards are kind of holding him in a position where it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, and being pulled over there. Dark Prince is actually really not good against Inferno Tower because his significantly lower health pool allows him to get killed. And the Inferno Tower doesn't respect the shield very much. Like, it just burns it off and keeps going.
Its attack speed is so high that it just kind of keeps
Yeah. ESL Yo's already saying good game. I think he realized that he actually can't win this game. Well, I mean, obviously he can win the game, right?
Yeah.
But he's saying good game almost like he feels like he's not going to be able to punch through with any
Yeah.
sort of push. He's already given him his best shot twice. A P.E.K.K.A. with 2 princes. Like, that's what I do. And it hasn't really made much of a dent, although he is actually leading, so...
Yeah. So the question is, really, I think the focus should be on the princes. Use the P.E.K.K.A. to allow the princes to do work.
I'm surprised he's not split pushing more. Like, you put the P.E.K.K.A. behind your tower, and then you do the double princes in the other lane. Because you can see right now the main prince is getting, like, gummed up behind them, which is not what you want with an Inferno Tower. If he could somehow put something like 9 Elixir in each of the lanes at the same time with, like, P.E.K.K.A. Ice Wizard in one and double princes in the other, I think that would be significantly more effective at cracking this,
Absolutely.
this opening.
Let's see. I almost feel like this P.E.K.K.A. should be played at the bridge, and you should be trying to find some way to play your princess in the back. Because if you play the P.E.K.K.A. in the back, he can play his Inferno Tower at the exact right spot.
What's going on with the ESL? Oh, okay. I'm trying to think about what to do. Uh-oh. And yeah, once again, we're seeing these P.E.K.K.A.s almost just go nowhere.
See, this seems like a big opening to me because now your Inferno Tower is leaning more and more to the
Oh,
right.
yeah, that's right. You could have put him on the other side.
If you
and it would never have pulled it.
Yep. So that's really kind of things that you have to be watching out for when
Yeah.
you're playing against towers. So how can you convince them? And this is why, again, Minions is by far the biggest card to play against Inferno Tower, because you play them in the middle at the river. Any kind of middle placement for the tower will tag onto the minions before they tag onto your troops on the bridge. And so that forces the Inferno Tower to have to be played on the right side, which opens you up to split pushing.
Now then again, that also could have been a trap by Brian RT because he's such a fast cycle deck with Zap, Minor, Ice Spirit that he could probably have cycled back to Inferno Tower. You really had to drop the 9 Elixir in the left lane immediately, like right there.
Yeah, Brian RT. It's hard to justify P.E.K.K.A. double Prince in this world of Bowler Inferno Tower. Those 2 cards on their own seem to adequately defend against any kind of P.E.K.K.A. double Prince push.
Yeah, Bowler's just such a slow, grindy sort of card. Where was another game? Let's follow my new favorite, by the way. Rigos moves on to the second round, upsetting Naders, to play Justin for the win, another high-quality tournament player. And this deck, so what's interesting about Rigos, by the way, is if you notice, this isn't the Royal Giant version. So this guy is playing 2 separate spawner decks.
So the Huts are the same.
And the Barbarians.
The same.
And I think, was it Poison maybe, or Zap? It's probably Zap or Poison, right, is the other duplicate card.
I would say.
So I don't know what to... Let's go ahead for Rigos and put up Barbs there. We don't have Royal Giant anymore, but he's going to have a whole lot of Barbarinos coming down the lane. And for Justin, who is playing... this is more of his old school Hog Cycle deck, right?
Yeah.
It's not the...
Justin really did like his Hog Cycle.
Yes. I'm surprised he's not playing Cannon, though, because to me, Cannon and Ice Wizard were 2 of the key defining support cards for him, but those must have just been... fleeting fancies and not quite core to the deck. You're right, though, that he's got the Skeletons and Ice Wizard along with the Elixir Collector. He should be able to cycle Collectors very well. This is actually the deck that Vizard played to the second place finish 2 weeks ago. So let's get in. So I think that for Justin, we're going to be seeing a lot of pump cycling. He should be able to get out multiple pumps very quickly because of the cheap cycles, but is that going to be enough to hold off spawners, right? Infinite spawners. And Rigos, of course, can have openings against multiple pumps with his Minor.
This is a very different deck. Hog Cycle is very aggressive. Now, troubles that Hogs will have against spawner decks is later in the game making trades to the towers. As a Hog Cycle player, you have to take the first tower before a double Elixir happens, and you can't lose too much health before that happens, because once it gets into double Elixir phase, sure, you're doing damage, but you're at risk of getting 3-crowned if you ignore the other side where all the Barbarians and Spear Goblins are coming down the lane. Ooh, bad guess.
You know, I think Goblin, he did his best, though. You know, I think one of the most underrated cards in the game, especially in Arena 5 and under, is Goblin Hut. I think Goblin Hut does have a spot in the tournament meta if you have an answer for Princess, because Princess completely shuts you down. But aside from Princess totally shutting you down... Oh, no! Now, Justin's going to have to poison over here in order to stop those barbs from just completely wrecking the tower.
Yep.
Use his skeletons to pull even more, because even that one barb is going to get there and do probably 400... Nope, it's 200.
Yep.
Barb Hut's a really, really good card. But yeah, so Goblin Hut, super underrated. If you're watching this and you are an Arena 5 and under, any deck that you see that says Elixir Collector, you can play Goblin Hut in that spot, and you'd have a pretty similar advantage there.
Yeah. And it's just like we talked about in the first time we saw Rigos versus Naders, it's just the Elixir Collector will give you the Elixir, but you still need to work that Elixir into something.
Ooh, great! Look at that! And if he's going to get the Zap off as well?
No, I think he's okay with just this. So his opponent played Spear Goblins and the Musketeer for 6 against 5.
Yeah.
I think Justin at this point knew that he wasn't going to break down the towers, so he's okay with just, I'm going to maintain my Elixir advantage, not get too greedy for extra swings. I'm going to play slow pace, and once he knows he can all in, I think that's when he's going to be dumping his Zap. I
like the Zap because I think you would have gotten one more Hog Swing out of it, so it was like worth the 2 Elixir cost. But that Princess being kind of thrown away is really risky here because, oh god! Oh! 1 hit!
2.
2 hits because of the Zap, and the Zap is also going to really kill all those barbs. Look at that, 5 barbs.
That's only one more set of barbs, I believe, from that hut.
Probably. Yeah. Now, that was 6 Elixir on... Or actually more than that, 10 Elixir on Justin's part, but he did some damage to the tower and, of course, did a significant amount of damage to the 7 Elixir Barbarian hut. I just think that that's another lost princess, though, for Justin. I think one of the key things that he needs to stack is to get 2 princesses out as much as possible, because that's something spawner decks just can't deal with.
So something interesting to note, those goals that I listed at the start of the match, take down a tower for double elixir, you can start to see why this is super problematic because a Hog Rider does a great job against the huts and the spawners, but they're never going to make it to the tower because of those spawners.
Right, now, because he's already got the Barb Hut almost back in his hand, so he can almost replace it despite it getting poisoned down. And it's a 7-cost card. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and on the right side, he's just chipping away on that tower.
I really like the Miner in spawner decks because that's a deck more than any others that just needs an instant pop-up tank.
Yeah.
Now, the crazy thing, though, is that actually both of Justin's towers are starting to get a little soft. Now, of course, Rigos has to defend his left side tower, and the poison is slowly working him down. But depending on how, like, barbs go, ooh, great poison there. And the skeletons are going to get grinded up. That was just a cheap cycle. Oh, no! Not misplay, but just guessed wrong. Oh, 1 more hit. 2 more hits. Is it 1 poison away? Rigos is within a poison of being able to defeat Justin for the win here. He just has to survive. Now, the poison's going to help take down here with the Hog Rider. Yep. Now, can he defend against this with the Ice Spirit behind it?
He needs to cycle to Zap. Oh, my God. It's
the Princess is a little short. Oh, and it drops it. If only he can get a poison out or a Miner. He's got the Zap.
Oh, no.
One more swing of the Miner, and he does! Rigos upsets Justin for the win! Wow, I don't know if that's a match win or if it's just a game win, but Rigos, who is playing 2 spawner decks, has just beaten, in the early rounds of the tournament, 2 very good players.
Spawner decks it's very interesting because much like a Mortar Siege deck or a Crossbow deck, a spawner deck requires you to make very, very interesting new decisions about how you want to play out your match and how you want to spend your elixir, one that players might not be comfortable with. I think it's a very winnable game for both Naders and Justin, but it's just the decisions that you make against a spawner deck is just so different than a typical Royal Giant, Giant Bowler, Giant Poison. It's just not really the same, you know, and I think it really is up to adaptation.
Ooh, oh, oopsies. Because I don't have the matchup, that's why. Doink. This match looks good. Some more interesting decks. You know what? You're right. Actually, let's try to find a Giant Bowler deck because it would be very We'll watch this game, but I just want to see is there any Giant Bowler games like around, or if a lot of people tried to move away from it because they're afraid of being meta. To be honest, actually, in the last N games that we've looked at, there hasn't been a lot. So it's not just us being weird and not picking them. There's simply not a lot of Giant Bowler games. Or there's a Giant Bowler mirror match. We can watch that. All right, let's catch this one because we already pulled it up. And then I think we have maybe 1 more game until the top 8 is set, and we'll watch the. We'll go into the top 8.
I like me some Goblin Barrels. There's actually between these 2 players 2 Stab Goblins on the field, and so I really, really like that. Stab Goblins are just so great because they do so much damage very quickly, and they're fast, right? Their time to tower is incredible. Goblin Barrel especially.
I think one of the key cards in Juan's deck will actually be the Valkyrie because it's going to be a great blocker against Prince. It can eat Prince charges. It can counter Miners. It's great at the river against Ice Wizard, Goblins, or Musketeer. And it's a great splash tank to push in a lane against Fire Spirits. So Valkyrie, if Juan uses his Valkyries very well, I think that'll be the key to winning for him. And
my gut feeling is actually not to play the Valkyrie as a Miner defense because based on the positioning of the Miner, if you pull the Valkyrie too far behind, then you don't have the position to stop the Prince and the Goblins, right? So I think you should try to find an excuse to use a Valkyrie on the Prince and the Goblins, and then figure out some new way to defend against the Miner. Either way, this Juan Chobi's deck actually looks aggressive enough that he might actually be okay with a Miner tagging onto the tower and then just counterattacking, because he, with Wizard, Goblin Barrel plus Valkyrie, he might just blow through whatever troops you play on defense.
Yeah.
And then take down a tower really quick.
Wizard is a card that I'm really excited to see in like solid tournament play, because it's kind of been absent. The only times I've really seen Giant have been in like Giant Sparky Wizard decks where they use the Wizard to cover the Sparky from minions and other swarmy troops. But you haven't really, defensive Goblin Barrel, like defensive Miner, is not necessarily what you want to see.
The first hand played is always the hardest because of the random cards you start with. Juan Chobi was just in a really uncomfortable situation with Valkyrie and then having to play it slow, then the Inferno Tower being in an awkward spot.
Right. Uses the Wizard to start pushing back on that lane. I think it would be good to... Oh, there's great poison, because not only does he get the Fire Spirits...
for Miner.
Right. Oh, you're right, he does. Oh, and he's going to choose to hit the Musketeer, though, instead.
Wow, that's so much value. Oh,
pulling the Goblins back in is very impressive. And he shocks him. Is it going to work? Oh, it does! The Wizard lives!
One shot.
One shot?
Value.
Boink.
There it is. Yep.
Wizard does a significant amount of damage. I mean, it's about 250 per shot. So even one punch after all that other stuff that died. Great use of the Miner there to not only keep the Musketeer in the poison and make sure it dies during the poison, but the Goblins got pulled in there as well.
Okay, so he does use the Valkyrie on defense. Flubbed it a little bit, but that's okay.
Well, he actually was smart. He was playing it where the last Miner was played. So he's trying to predict it, but of course it takes a few reads to kind of predict your opponent a little bit.
Yeah. So far, Juan Chobi has been getting away with some great poisons and chipping away damage on the tower just a bit. And
kind of like when you see that against Elixir Collectors, using the poison on Furnace may not do the full damage to Furnace, but it guarantees that Joseph can never get 2 out at a time and really start to overwhelm you with those waves and waves of Fire Spirits one after the other. I think maybe he could have taken the damage there instead of zapping. It depends how you value the Elixir there.
Defend.
Like, he would much rather have the zap now, I'm sure.
Ooh, Fireball plus.
Wow. Oh, and the Wizard just gets rolled by the Prince.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And we were talking about good use of Valkyrie being key for Juan Chobi, and that definitely was not good use of the Valkyrie.
And those, Fire Spirit's just going to clean up on that Valkyrie. Wow. So now it's not looking so hot. Juan Chobi only has 30 seconds to get through, and I don't know how he's going to do it with center-placed Furnaces and, of course, Ice Wizards, Goblins, all that sort of stuff to block.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to use his Goblin Barrel on offense. He knows that Zap is down for Joseph, but Joseph does have...
I don't know, auto lights in the room.
The room just wants us to raise our hands.
Yeah, every once in a while we got to remember to stretch. But yeah, that's... I think this might be done for. 3 seconds left. Great play, though, by Joseph to just sort of grind out a win over a deck that looks like it would try to grind you out, right? It's an Inferno Tower-based deck. You know, a lot of that kind of stuff.
A Goblin Barrel deck without a Zap bait and also without the opportunity to really... I think defensive play really failed Juan Chobi there. It was just very difficult for him to get to the point where he felt like he could play his aggressive cards.
Well, unfortunately for all the fans of Rigos, this is the next round, and it implies with Justin for the win here, that means that even though we saw Rigos win 2-1 for Justin for the win to advance to the next round, Rigos, though, you might be my group play, my early round love of the week, though. It's really cool to see inventive deck builders come into the Super Magical Cup and use our double deck format to really show off different archetypes and different skills. And Rigos, I mean, made it to the second round. As far as I know, that's his first Super Magical Cup. That's a totally fine performance, especially given that he beat Naders and took a game from Justin in round 2.
And I think it's just such a hard thing to feel, because Justin for the win is not an easy player to beat, and you know, you never know. Rigos could have beat a whole number of players and made it all the way to the finals. It just happened to be Justin that he met in the second round. So, Bakalo is playing a double Prince deck in the bracketed tournament. It's back.
My fan.
Show us how to play double Prince, because I feel like we've seen them lose.
Right. Yeah, they haven't been so hot today, which is funny because last week they were so good against the bowler decks, but we're not seeing a lot of giant bowler. We're still seeing other more defensive decks, but not a ton of giant bowler, and that is probably hurting the matchup here for these double Prince Charger decks. But then again, Justin for the win. I mean, you've got the Hog Rider versus Mini P.E.K.K.A matchup. You've got Prince and guards that are pretty good against those cards. I'd love to see how this matchup goes. We've got 2 skilled players meeting in the 3rd round. I believe the winner of this match, not this game, but this match, moves on to the top 8. So this is definitely a very high-stakes game for both players.
I can't remember. Was it Justin or was it Clyde who is the player that would never die?
It was Clyde.
It was Clyde.
Clyde had it goes down 1-0 in every matchup and then wins 2-1 every time.
It's just interesting to think about the adaptation that Justin had to go through to beat the spawner decks twice, right? I mean, in the first game, it really seemed like Justin was struggling. It was close towards the end of the match, 200 health left on that tower, but still, like the spawner, like playing against a spawner and using good strategy against it is tough.
Oh, I was hoping those skeletons there would distract the Mini P.E.K.K.A and allow the Hog to get free a little bit, but didn't quite work out for Justin that way. Yeah. Ooh, and that Ice Spirit having to be played on the left is probably something you'd rather have on the right there, but Mini P.E.K.K.A might do okay. Okay. Oh, the duel! Okay, it looks like they're both going to kill each other. That was very risky, though, for Justin. That easily could have gone bad. Bakalo is the player who, one of my favorite plays that we've ever seen out of Bakalo in this Super Magical Cup was when he was playing and he had 2 princesses and an opponent had 2 princesses. And just as all 4 princesses were about to shoot at each other, he quickly zapped Ice Spirit and won with both of his princesses living and both enemy ones dead. So definitely don't want to mess around with Bakalo when it comes to princesses.
Oh, nice. Okay, but still,
you can use the other
Mini P.E.K.K.A is dangerous.
And he didn't pull.
No!
What
is this?
No way! That was the worst of both worlds, unfortunately. And no, Justin's gonna end up taking a Prince charge for it. Great play. I mean, that worked out great for Bakalo. I do not think Justin expected that to work out the way that it did.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, great use of the Hog Jump there to distract the guards. Look at that, giving him the old rope-a-dope.
They're catching up.
But even then, I think for 4 elixir on Bakalo's side, that worked out much better for Justin. He wanted the damage there, and he got the elixir on the board to counter it.
How do you defend? You got cheapy units.
And that's going to win because the other one gets to attack first. Once again, Bakalo has just been putting together these very creative pushes that, no, he's going to use the princess. Whoa!
Yeah, okay.
I like that, Justin.
Yeah.
This is some really inventive play by both players. They are not playing standard lines of play that I'm used to seeing. They're really mixing it up with each push to psych the other player out. And there goes... Oh! The Dark Prince was charging, though, and then back to the Ice Spirit. It's crazy how fast this deck cycles between the double pumps.
Ooh, Hog Rider for defense.
Oh, no, I don't think that Hog's going to make it at all.
Yeah. Ooh. He had to play it. He had to cycle for defense.
But that Princess... Oh, okay, no, it does get goofed.
And the reason why this is becoming so chaotic for Justin for the win is purely because we hit double elixir phase. And this is...
Oh, 1 swing, 2 swings. We're in 30 seconds left. It's not quite overtime yet because the Princess is going to get 1 more shot off. She does! And the tower's down for Bakalo. So Justin knows what he has to do. He's got 20 seconds to take this tower down. There's 1700 health on it. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. The poison's going down. The Hog's down. He's got 15 seconds left to put together a push. Bakalo goes down the right side of the Prince, but got Princess covering it. Unfortunately, I think that might be it for this game.
He dropped the Mini P.E.K.K.A too early. The Prince got the charge.
But anything to not take damage. Yeah. I mean, for Bakalo, anything to push through at this stage of the game. Yeah. He just wants to split it up. Bakalo takes a game over Justin for the win. Very, very great game. That was actually, I'm glad we watched that game. The inventiveness of both players was really cool. Those pushes were different each time, just over and over and over again.
Very, very difficult. And Justin for the win, I think, has to know more than anybody else. Playing a Hog Rider in that situation, you need to be very, very creative, and you need to execute very precisely. Just because the Hog Rider is such a... It's just like any other building chaser, right? Once you commit that elixir, you are down this path of kind of risk, you know? Yeah. Because you do not do anything to affect your opponent's troops. And against the double Prince Mini P.E.K.K.A combination, we saw in that last situation, there was a full health Mini P.E.K.K.A, full health Prince and Dark Prince coming down his lane, and they were like 2 centimeters from the tower.
Right.
You have a 4 elixir card that does nothing to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, in a lot of those, Mini P.E.K.K.A is really good on defense against most things, but not really good against those Prince charges because it doesn't have a huge hit point pool. Yeah. Kind of like Lumberjack. I mean, if you eat those Prince charges, already Mini P.E.K.K.A's down to just half or less health before the combat really even begins. So we're going to jump over. I believe the winner of this match is either in the top 8 or top 16. We're going through the very few final rounds here. And this is a pretty interesting matchup of styles. We haven't seen a lot of Giants today, but here are 2 Giant decks. Naruto Uzumaki is running the, what was the kind of the Shanghai Giant deck, right? It's got the Giant, Poison, whatever. Instead of Mini P.E.K.K.A, it's running Lumberjack, and it's using Prince and Minions in the flex spots instead of Ice Wizard and Bowler and whatever other cards you want. GSAM running a Three Musketeers deck, but a very interesting Three Musketeers deck. It really, if Three Musketeers was just Musketeer, it would look like a pretty standard minor poison deck. But he's opting to run the Three Musketeers, I imagine, to win mirror matches between other big tanky decks, to give him a different sort of style of play.
Now, if we remember, based on what we saw, Naruto's alternative deck is actually Giant Bowler. So he's bringing 2 Giant decks to the table.
Let's see if it pays off.
It seems like he is really committed to this big body kind of play. Let's see.
I mean, it's a smart matchup. We've seen players in the finals or even win the last few weeks. Giant Poison has been one of the 2 decks in the final for one of the 2 players in the finals every single week. It is the most consistent beatdown deck in the format. It doesn't really have any terrible matchups. It's just a great choice for players looking to get deep in the tournament. Oh no!
God. Oh my god, that was like an Expo's worth of damage.
And that shows what happens when you try to kind of cheap out on your defense.
He has no elixir to stop this.
Oh no, but it's going to what's good for the goose is good for the gander, because here comes a Mini P.E.K.K.A swing again. Wow, GSAM, we were just about to tisk you for the defense, but there you go. Wow.
Oh my god.
So what happened there was GSAM tried to defend with just 3 elixir. It gets zapped, and you see his tower take a ton of damage. Oh my god, right away we've got the 3 Musketeers.
Of course, but every single time.
With the counter push, he used Miner to make those zapped minions just as good as full health minions, right? And they did so much damage. And here we go, once again, just trying to kind of get a little cheapy defense here. Miner on defense to block. I don't like that poison at all. That wasn't even a full health elixir collector. I don't think that was a great call by Naruto.
Puts him in a very tough spot. He knows that GSAM has 3 Musketeers, and so dumping your elixir like that basically puts a ball in your opponent's court.
Yeah.
And that's everything that GSAM wants. Slow Giant push, efficient defense, and 3 Musketeers aggressively.
Right.
Oh, GSAM actually opts to collector, so he threw the ball back. And now Naruto has the opportunity to punish.
I think he wants the Giant to pass by before dropping 3 Musketeers in the middle. But that is a pretty scary little push there, because that 5 elixir is going to go down right away. I don't like that poison at all. It's not going to even get close. Maybe it's just there to kill the minions.
Yeah, but now you have the elixir to defend the right.
Yeah, that was a very somewhat desperate attack, I think, by GSAM, which is weird because he was already winning the game.
Yeah.
GSAM didn't need to make that attack there, just needs to focus on defending.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. This Miner's not going to do a lot of damage. And look, he's focused on the Giant and not the Prince. So the Prince kills him very quickly. Oh no, the guards are going to tie him up. That Prince is still going, and here comes Lumberjack in to swing once, twice, 3 times. Oops. Wow! GSAM and Naruto. I mean, congratulations to Naruto grabbing a victory from the jaws of defeat. I think in most games, GSAM just has to hold on there to win, but one ill-fated attack put him so far behind that Naruto was able to push back. Whoa!
That super tragic speech bubble. Just the single oops.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oops might be right.
Oh, my God.
So we are in the top 8 now. I think there might be a few more matches wrapping up. So let's see. This is game 3 of who's going to advance into the top 8 from this matchup.
Yes.
And we've got Chicken Bob, qualifier hero, looking to make his first top 8 ever. I don't believe he's actually made one yet. Senus, who is actually also new to the SuperMagicalCup circuit. We've seen him in a few qualifiers, and I believe we've watched a handful of games in the early stages of past weeks. Both of them running Bowler. We've got a Bowler mirror match here going on. Very different decks, though. Whereas Giant Poison Bowler usually runs Collector, Chicken Bob does not run a Collector at all. Senus is running both Collector and Inferno Tower.
Yeah, Chicken Bob's alternate deck was the Bowler Rocket. Is that right?
I
think.
Yes, he had the Bowler Rocket deck is the other one. You're right.
So he's okay. Interesting. It's interesting to see. So, for example, for Naruto, his consistent card is going to be the Giant. He's running different Giant archetypes. Chicken Bob's on the other side, where he's running a Giant Bowler and then a Bowler Rocket, whereas Naruto is using a...
You know who, I'm trying to think what cards we should put up here. You know what's probably not going to be super key is the guards. The guards are going to get blown out by a lot of different stuff. I think the key thing to keep an eye on for Senus is how well can he pump up, because these big push decks are going to require a lot of elixir on defense. Senus isn't really trying to win through... like any sort of big push. He just needs to pump up and survive. So if for whatever reason he gets pushed off of the pump plan, I think it's going to go pretty bad for him. But if he can get probably 2 collectors out consistently, I think he's going to have the elixir to defend, especially because Chicken Bob can't pump up on his own.
Absolutely. That's going to be a big consideration. Chicken Bob needs to make sure that his big... Okay, yep. And that is a very Vizard play.
I mean, actually, I've seen a lot of players just do that. They just fireball poison collectors on site. Now, it leaves you very vulnerable.
Backstab was the one who did that.
Yeah.
Clark
Kent does it as well, a lot.
Yeah. It's also interesting. Clark Kent, I remember distinctly there was one time where it happened at the start of the game, much like in this situation. Clark Kent muttered under his breath, "Well, wow, that's risky."
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's probably experience from Clark Kent playing on ladder, perhaps, or just knowing that like sometimes you just don't really know what your opponent has in hand.
Real scary 10 elixir push here. The guards are there behind to block. They ate an Ice Spirit, which slowed them down a little bit, but I think that's a great play to keep them off the towers.
Yeah. Wow. Battle of the Bowlers.
And that'll take a while. As long as the tower behind isn't getting attacked, it's totally fine to let those two things just waste their elixir. Yeah. Yep. Bowl each other out of existence.
Oh, man.
Senus is able to get a second one. There's no miner on Chicken Bob's side, so I think he's smart to play it behind there because...
Ooh. That was a predetermined play. He just opted to say, when I play my miner, I'm just going to play my poison for whatever it is that you drop. Which is interesting because I feel like poison is actually the worst spell out of the two. Comparing fireball and poison, poison is like not that great to do that with.
Okay. But poison's, you can lay it down early. I mean, I think he was hoping for something more like Ice Wizard or Ice Spirit that would get grinded up by the poison pretty quick. Yeah. But I mean, that's fine. A lot of times in these decks, right, you're ahead on elixir, you're about to hit 10, you don't want to attack. That's a good way to get 7 elixir out of your hand, 3, 4, 7 elixir out. And if it does damage to the tower, that's fine because you're never attacking, right? Like you're just trying to convert your extra elixir during the downtime into damage towers.
This is a key point in the match, whether Chicken Bob can push through this Inferno Tower defense right now. If he can't do this, I feel like Chicken Bob is in a really, really bad spot. Right. Which, that Inferno Tower placement maybe could have been better because this bowler is actually getting a lot of value on the tower before the Inferno Tower was even defeated.
Right. Now, actually, good job with the Ice Spirits there to hold it off, and of course now the angled bowler is going to keep that mini pack off. It might get one swing, but it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Now, great. Senus is in the position that he wants to be in. Took some damage early. Obviously, both towers, the left tower and the top right tower, are at the same health. But Senus is ahead in the respect that he's got 2 pumps. Ooh. Oh, he does kill it because of the poison. Wow. Now, unfortunately, it didn't hit the tower so much, but that bowler is already kind of beat up. And most importantly, it's split up from the other from the giant. They can't push together now.
So the big thing is you just committed 7 elixir to do like a miner's worth of damage.
Sure.
Now you have 2 giants and a bowler.
That Inferno Tower is going to eat up both of those cards.
Was it worth? Oh, he cycled a second one. Do you have Zap? He does not have Zap in hand, so that actually really, really hurts. I think if Chicken Bob's cycle is just a little bit different, Senna's would be in big trouble. But let's see.
Yeah, okay.
This is momentum right here. We're seeing the effects of momentum. Now it's Senus' chance to attack, but make one wrong decision and the counter push can end.
Yeah, huge opening actually for Chicken Bob because I think that bowlers don't really do that much damage, and using this giant to tank 13 elixir worth of troops is actually a really good value for only 5 elixir. It allowed him to sort of remove all that from the board. Oh no, Mini Pack swings once. He's gonna swing twice. It does. It takes down the Inferno Tower. There's a big opening for Chicken Bob now. Play the giant by the river because he knows that there's no Inferno Tower up right now. Senus needs to use double elixir time to cycle back as quickly as possible.
And it's almost interesting because in this situation, the most confident card that I have in my mind is a Goblin Barrel or Miner, right? While all of this is happening, if you play a Goblin Barrel or a Miner on the tower, that's where you instantly gain your value. You have a lot of slow troops that don't make it. I mean, look at this bowler. He's been there for what, like a minute on the map, and he's done no damage to the tower. And that's really the big thing at the end of the day.
Senus, though, I think he's the... Oh, no, he's within a poison shot of dying,
one more swing on that Miner would have been comfortable, but yeah.
Is that going to kill
he's let it...
Is that going to kill it? Is the poison going to die?
Oh,
it's 11 seconds. It didn't take the last time. And Chicken Bob steals it.
Grab him.
Whoa. Who wants Chicken Bob? Like, wow. I really did not see that turning around like that. Whoa. So Chicken Bob steals that game in the last minute with a timely poison as Senus' poison does not finish it up. It was a level 4 poison. Can't even blame card levels on that one. It's a game of inches.
And this is kind of what I'm talking about. I'm glad that Chicken Bob ended up winning that match. But when you think about it, this slow dynamic of giant bowler and like pushing past an Inferno Tower, if you have a card like Goblin Barrel or Miner that just goes directly to the tower, as long as your giant is tanking the tower shots and taking the Inferno Tower, it doesn't clear out the giant that fast. Right? And after it clears out the giant, it has to tag onto the bowler, and it doesn't clear out the bowler that fast. But the point is, if you only have giant and bowler, you're still not going to do any damage to the tower, because even though they survive with not enough health to really attack the tower at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think, what's one of the strongest things about poison in that situation is that poison, like, more so than fireball, you can play it as the push is starting and guarantee that your push is going to complete, that your push is not going to leave you vulnerable to their counter push. I mean, it's one of the best things. And we're still getting people here joining into the top 8. So hopefully, maybe we should go back. We should go back to the old clan and watch some more games.
We'll see. How many people do we have chilling in here?
We should have all 8 now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.
Wow, some big names too.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a great one. Whoa, please. Oh, we won't know because it's a friendly game, so we won't. These are all friendly games. I don't want to spoil anything yet, but this dude's name.
Oh no.
That's one of our people.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Funny name. Before Royal Giant got buffed, he was like, I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So one of our admins, one of our admins is named Top Royal Giant NA. Here, we'll show it to you. And I thought this was a player name, Top Royal Giant NA. I was so ready for it.
Yeah.
We got some good names here. I don't want to spoil anything, but we'll go ahead and put it in. Our bracket is not up yet.
I mean, Rumham knows, but if you could only see him, though, you would understand why he connects with the Royal Giant.
Nice.
The beard and all.
Yeah. We got Shreddy Wop, Patriots 34,
I'm excited.
Zadian, Chicken Bob, Bakalo, Brian RT, Trainer Chris, and some mystery person, a 7th mystery person who we're waiting to see.
Who is mysterious, because if we have 7 people, then that means technically that not necessarily.
We can take a little analysis of this too. So Shreddy Wop top 8'd last week, I believe, as well. So pretty good for him. Patriots is obviously the winner from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Didn't top 8 last week, got upset unfortunately last week in the early rounds, but is back to claim a title this week.
That's what we're talking about with the single elimination stuff, right? Is even if you lose early in particular rounds, it's not very indicative of kind of your future performance, just because it's so dependent on what you match up against, who you match up against. If you face Woody in the first round, even though you lose to Woody, that doesn't necessarily mean that you lose to everybody on the way to Woody, right?
Right, and I think there's... you can't dodge anyone in this format. In the bracketed formats, if you play the eventual tournament winner in the second round, that's just it. I mean, you're out in the second round, but it's not a value judgment. What I think you see a lot of with the in-app tournaments is top players have a range they always finish in. They always finish in the top 50, top 100, top whatever, because they're so good. Because you can lose the occasional game, but overall their win rate's really, really high. Yeah. But here, the top 8 can be very volatile from week to week because you don't know who's going to play who in the early rounds. I mean, I think Patriots 34 had to beat some big names like Mini Minter. And actually, we can go through the larger bracket because I don't think the top 8 one is set yet.
Yeah, and I believe.
Here we go.
Oh.
So we've got GSAM, 2-1 level 99. You can see where some of these matches were. And Naruto. So actually going down there, Bakalo had to beat Patrick King, who's using, I heard, a pretty cool deck. I'm sorry, Kenmu down here. Chief Mystical, Justin for the win. So definitely a tough match there in the third round at least. Popcorn, a former top 8er, gets beaten the first round, who gets upset in the next round by Joseph, who gets beaten the next round by Brian RT.
Interesting. Brian RT actually pushed through EMs. I think I've seen quite a few in quite a few Super Magical Cups. ESL Yo, obviously one of the biggest qualifier players.
Right. So and Brian RT is definitely
he's
a name to watch.
Making his path.
And Chicken Bob, we saw him beat Springtrap there. We watched that game earlier. Parzival in the next round, Senus as well. Backstab, wow.
Actually took out. So, I mean, this is a very interesting spot because we were talking about how we wanted to see Marcel P and Backstab.
Right.
None of them made it out.
Actually, I mean, yeah, Backstab gets upset by Senus in the first round. Giannis upsets Marcel P. Senus beats Giannis, and then Chicken Bob takes him out. So even that whole train of who beat who is ended right there by Chicken Bob. Zadian. Now, I think Zadian had a pretty tough path going through Diego B, Stellarim, and T-Bone we've seen a little bit of. So
Zadian has always been this player that is kind of, I feel like, has a lot of success in early rounds, but just I don't think has ever made a big top 4 performance.
Vizard. So Grubby gets beat. Grubby, another top four, I think he's top four before. Vizard, 2-time finalist. His dream gets ended by Shreddy Wop in the 3rd round. So Shreddy Wop, who I think actually might have even lost to Vizard last week in the top 8, gets his revenge. We'd have to check our YouTube channel to see. But I think Shreddy Wop got unfortunately beat by Vizard last week and is like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you. Patriots 34.
Nice.
Gets through, beats Awful Waffles, beats Ethan. Flash has to beat Mini Minter, and then Flash gets beaten the next round by Ethan, who then gets defeated by Patriots. Down here, Trainer Chris.
That's a tough bracket.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus 35, another former winner. 2 1s in the first round.
Skeleton Army dream.
2 1s. Wow, 3 2-1 games in a row for Marcus 35. That builds up some fatigue as well.
Yeah. And he's playing. Well, I don't know what deck he's playing, but if he's playing like slow big body decks, that's long matches that you have to play.
Crazy how many former Season 2 winners were in this week's event despite all the absences. Even in our top 8, Patriots 34, Zadian, and I think Trainer Chris. No, C. McHugh won the week that Trainer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but Zadian and Patriots 34, 2 former winners in the top 8, and then Bakalo, Chicken Bob, Trainer Chris, and Shreddy Wop have all been here before. I think actually Naruto Uzumaki's been in the top 8 as well, just once, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll have to see. So currently, the most interesting to think about is if Patriots 34 wins, and he becomes a 2-time winner within the season.
Do we have? We can start the next round. Who's the 8th player here though? Because I'm counting 8.
So we got Zadian, Shreddy Wop, Patriots, and whoever was at the bottom.
Bakalo. So we have them all here though. I feel like because it's.
Wait, you have to mouse. Yeah.
Oh, it's this thing. Yeah. Naruto is in.
Naruto.
Right, Naruto's in. Bakalo is in. Brian RT is not
Senus?
In. Brian RT is the. Oh no, Brian RT is in.
It's Senus.
No, Chicken Bob.
It's Senus. Oh yeah, it's Chicken.
Right, Chicken Bob. Right. Zadian, Shreddy Wop, Patriots, and Trainer Chris. Oh, they have all 8 now. I'm sorry, they joined now. Okay, we're looking at it around, so they can start. They can start as soon as possible.
All right, there we go.
There they go.
All right, looks like we're just about to get in.
And hopefully, this has been updated.
Is the Sparky Goblin Barrel dream alive? That's
perfect. We've got it set, and we're gonna handle the score reporting from now on. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got.
We need to go to the challenge.
Yeah, we can go ahead and put the cover up here. Doink. So these matches are going to be happening right now. We're going to switch this with the bracket. There we go.
Ooh, Patriots versus
There we go. We'll keep the bracket up for the entire top 8, which is starting right now. And you know what? Let's go ahead and spectate a game. I can't just sit here for another few minutes. We've got Patriots 34 and Bakalo. This will be the first. Oh! Right off the bat, Patriots 34 opens with his classic Expo deck. The Ice Spirit getting rolled, though, is a huge difference there because that Ice Spirit freezing the bowler would have been a lot of damage on the bowler. But, ooh, is it going to live? Only a handful of shots on the tower, but every bit of damage counts when you're playing a siege deck for sure.
But for the price to pay, 200 damage for an Elixir Collector is not too bad.
Bakalo looks like his other deck besides Double Princes is the Giant Bowler that we've been talking about. So let's go ahead and put Giant up there. That's actually going to be a key card, I believe, for Bakalo against this Expo deck. Is Giant is a great blocker. It's something that can soak pretty much every Expo shot.
And a big push coming across the river right now. Giant followed by a mini P.E.K.K.A. gets gummed up by guards, which is the ideal response. But the key here is that Musketeer in the back is going to do a lot of work if Patriots doesn't have a good answer to it. Log is going to slow it down a little bit.
Oh, I like the mini P.E.K.K.A. there in terms of blocking, but you're right. That's significant amount of damage. Yeah. And Bakalo has the pump to show for it, so he's even ahead in Elixir as well.
Yeah. Nice. Good trade. And now again.
Ooh. I don't know how good that's going to be because it's going to shoot right, isn't it? It's going to shoot. Oh, but it hits the mini P.E.K.K.A. You couldn't have asked for a better target for that Expo because you need to take care. I mean, the Giant's going to do a lot of damage. Oh, no.
Yeah, no Elixir for Patriots side. Had to play an Ice Spirit, but really can't stop that bowler from doing damage to the Expo. So that's 2 Expos Patriots 34 has committed that have done not really that much. And that's a lot of swings on the Giant.
And even though he does a good job of splitting the guards up and kind of getting back into tie, I guess, in terms of the game state, there's nothing on the board. Bakalo is 3 Elixir ahead, and that's a great way for him to convert it into a pump, to get an extra 2 Elixir, to put him 5 Elixir ahead, right? If Patriots can't do anything about it. That's the danger about playing decks that both don't pump and don't have answers to pump, is you let skilled players really get ahead of you.
All right, round 3.
Ooh, and once again, the Giant just absorbs. And it's a great tower right there. It's actually going to kill that giant very quickly.
Yeah.
But the bowler is free range.
Oh nope! We forgot.
Lightning.
Patriots runs crossbow lightning.
Oh, and he
it
blocks
still
the ice.
tags
Oh,
on
it
to
does
the
still hit
crossbow.
it.
But that was expensive. Had to do the Ice Spirit and the Zap and the Musketeer.
But the game doesn't look so far out of reach now for
Yeah.
Patriots as it did just very recently. And I'm actually, wow, big job there. Because notice the Giant's going to be out of range for a little bit. If that thing can lock on, no. Now with the bowler there, it's probably going to lock onto the Giant once the bowler is dead. The key thing now is, can Patriots drag something over, drag it towards the Inferno Tower?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's walking straight for it.
The big thing is cycling right now for Patriots, and he doesn't have the Elixir Collector, so he cycles slower than Bakalo, which I think makes it very tough. Oh, wow, that was weird interaction because of their smart targeting.
Oh no, and here comes a big push. You know, with the poison and all the stuff behind it, I'm not sure that Patriots can really stop from taking, what, 300 damage? It's very little damage that he needs to take
I
in
think
order
he's
to
about
die
to
here.
lose his tower here.
Oh!
God!
What do I know, though? Oh, those guards get blown up, and that's why guards have started to fall out of the meta recently, is they're just unfortunate matchup against...
Nice target prioritization on the mini P.E.K.K.A. there.
Actually, and I really like even the freeze there. Notice that the mini P.E.K.K.A. is not in the tower. Oh, and he used the Inferno to save! He's only one...
Poison away.
And Bakalo is keeping the pressure... Oh, those things are gone. Yep. Bakalo is keeping the pressure up so that Patriots does not have an opening to drop the Expo that he needs to drop to win this game.
Lightning's a great card, but just not a good trade against the bowler. And ideally, in that situation, a Giant, a bowler, and a Musketeer. The Musketeer is great for kind of really... We need to go to the actual challenge thing.
Oh, I see.
So
it's a separate window, I guess we'll make over here.
Yeah.
Doink, doink, doink. Oh, no.
No.
Doink, doink. Challenge.
Yeah, and it's a great... It's kind of a great card, but against two big bodies where you won't really eliminate their threat, you will lower down their health quite a bit.
It's not this one. Shouldn't be this one.
Yeah, it's not that one.
So where do we... Oh, here it is.
I think that's a test one.
Yeah, so where's this one? Like, where's this week's event for us to edit?
I don't know. Let's
let's keep moving. Well,
yeah, let's keep moving forward and throw a message to the admins.
Yeah, so if someone, one of the admins watching, I know Sly House, you love here watching. Can you figure out how to challenge stuff? All right, well, let's keep watching.
Pages
they have just started, I believe, game 2. We'll keep the live spectating going. Bakalo has to switch. Now, if you're unfamiliar with, this is your first time watching the SuperMagicalCup, we do what's called a double deck format. It is a format where players have to submit 2 decks that are at least 4 cards different. Oh, does it swing once? It does. Wow. They have to submit 2 decks that are at least 4 card difference. They play best of 3 matches, and you have to win with both decks. So right here, we're seeing Patriots sticks on his Expo deck. It lost, so he has the option to play it again. But on the other hand, Bakalo must switch to his second deck, which is a double Prince mini P.E.K.K.A. deck.
Let's see. I mean, he didn't have the Elixir Collector in the opening hand, so I think that worked out very well for Patriots. In the last match, he had the... okay,
I like that he kept the Princess from charging, and then getting the guards in there was very good.
Yeah. Oh, spent the Zap already, but now it's tagged onto the tower. That's actually really bad for Bakalo. He's taking a ton of damage for this.
And here come the guards in. Oh, the Fire Spirits! Oh, don't totally blow them up, but the towers do help. And it's going to let it get quite a bit more damage.
The damage is already done. He can even... I mean...
He doesn't have poison, he could log here if he wanted to.
Yeah, he could log, and if there was another card played, he could probably lightning it too.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. He does have light. I always forget about lightning. So now the tower is definitely within lightning range.
Yep.
So as far as
he can actually
Bakalo,
leave it.
Yeah, he can leave it. He doesn't actually have to do anything. He can win this game at the 0 timer mark if he can just defend for a little bit longer. Great Ice Spirit catching both of those cards.
Yep. And the Inferno Tower placement is going to be able to do double tower shots. So
he just stopped a 10 elixir, 9 elixir push with what, 8 maybe?
Yeah.
And of course gets to keep a little bit of Inferno Tower around for later. Another slog's going to come down.
Yeah, Princess is being absolutely denied. Just trade 1 for 1 every single time that Princess pops up. Just log it.
I've tried to play log, and let me tell you, Patriots must be a wizard with both log and lightning. I have a really hard time getting both those cards to work. But oh god! Okay, wow, he was smart there to stop, and the placement of the triangle shape of the guards allowed them to not get completely goofed up by that charging Dark Prince. Great Inferno Tower by Patriots. I think he's really in the driver's seat for the rest of this game because he has an Inferno Tower that's going to live pretty much until the end of the game. It's got about 30 seconds left on its health, or its lifetime.
Yep.
And he's only 1 lightning away from pulling this game off. Great log.
Yeah. trading every single time with the princess. I mean, the princess has gotten one volley off, and that was the one. Other than that, he's always just been logging it before it even finishes its attack.
And the dreaded defensive expo for Patriots here. So Bakalo and Patriots are going to go to a game 3 as Patriots uses his trusty expo deck to hold them off. Great to see expo make a return to the top 8 because we didn't see it last week with the whole bowler meta going on. Patriots ties up and takes it to a 3rd game, but now it's on Patriots to switch decks to whatever his alternate was, and it'll be double Prince from Bakalo versus what else?
I would just like to take a moment to appreciate how clean that game was played out by Patriots. It was just a very kind of, he had a clear game plan from start to finish, took the win, ended it really safely. That was probably one of the most clean games we've seen.
Oops. Just trying to see if there's anything. Admins. We want to update the bracket. Bakalo and Patriots. They're starting their game right now, so we're going to go into their game 3 before watching the rest of the top 8.
So Patriots has to use his alternate deck, which we haven't seen quite yet.
That's right. I believe it's a... I'm not exactly sure. So we know that it's a double Prince deck.
Yeah, for Bakalo, it's double Prince. It's going to be minor something. Ooh, good defense. That increased deploy time right there.
And actually, let's go ahead and put minor up there because I think that's a key interaction where if Bakalo can keep his elixir collectors up, super favors him. Minor is the exact sort of card that princes are good against. Anything that is just pure elixir that tries to chase buildings, princes are great at because they do a good amount of damage and they counterattack very hard. So minor, hog, giant, those are the sort of matches that you want when you're playing double princes. Ooh, nice one. It's going to get a second one off. It does! And that's going to leave that Inferno Tower open to one shot. That takes a significant amount of lifetime off the remainder of that thing.
So how is Bakalo going to capitalize? Oh, nice defense
great
again.
Prince defense. And now that Inferno Tower is down, I don't know if he has another one up, but he's not just going to want to play the Inferno Tower. He's going to need something else.
He's going to have to play guards.
Oh, no! The guards get cleaned up a little bit with the princess there. The Ice Wizard's coming down as a little bit of a defensive play.
It's not looking good. I think those princes are going to get...
They do. They get blocked out. But the question is sort of who spent more elixir there because Bakalo is ahead by 1, has 1 pump out now. If he can get a second pump out, which I believe he can. And in the end, he even got a little bit of damage on the tower there from the surviving guards.
Guards do well.
So that whole back and forth tennis volley exchange. Whoa. Got to turn off the bracket. Admins, don't fill in games we haven't watched yet.
That's okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's watch this.
All right, 2 elixir against 1 elixir collector.
And the princess. Whoa! What's going on right there? I have never seen that before, ever.
Yes. I wish that minor hadn't died as fast. I wanted to see how long that prince would decide to go back and forth. That was cool.
Woohoo!
Nice. Patriots is in a really good spot now. The collector.
Yes, and with the Ice Wizard and with the princess surviving. Oh, and the mini P.E.K.K.A gets caught up there and only gets 1 swing off. With another princess coming down, I think unfortunately Dark Prince doesn't do that much, but he is going to quickly clean up that defense. Yeah.
And he really would have preferred that set of guards survive.
And even though he spent a little bit more, he killed that miner. The princess is still shooting.
It's a sloppy defense, but 2 elixir collectors are pumping out for Patriots all this time, so he can actually afford a little bit of a sloppier defense. The question is how much, right? As pushes extend, I mean, Bakalo is going to get farther and farther kind of diminishing returns.
Yeah, I actually think that at this point, Bakalo, with 3 minutes of overtime ahead, needs to switch back to the collector plan. By letting Patriots pump up and not getting damage through and letting these towers just shoot over and over again, I actually think Bakalo is kind of digging his own grave unless he can...
So the question for me is, so obviously in that whole push, Patriots doesn't have a big AoE option, right? He would have fireballed, he would have done some big splash in that situation if he had it. What is his last card?
That's a good question. Rocket, maybe? No, he would have rocketed by now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what's a good last card. Your poison, maybe? No, but there's some situations to poison. Oh! The difference between that mini P.E.K.K.A swinging and not is huge. And it didn't, but... Oh, great! Again, use of guards to keep these princesses alive. Bakalo if he's going to ride this to victory, he's going to do it on the back of his great princess play.
And I really feel like this is kind of... Oh my gosh! And I really feel like this is the big key point here is that there doesn't seem to be an AoE clear for Patriots. He's going to take down that Inferno Tower with that Prince, but again, still
He
at
doesn't have the elixir to do another opening.
Yeah, and now he's losing his elixir collectors because he had to spend all his elixir placing troops to defend, so eventually...
Ooh, what a zap.
Bakalo is going to grind him down.
Oh, it's a poison. So, okay, it was poison this whole time. I'm surprised that he never used poison more aggressively on the princesses while they were building up. I guess he didn't really feel the need to. But this game with only a minute 45 to go is anyone's game.
Yep. So Patriots 34 currently has a big elixir advantage. And I think it's going to come to the point where he needs to make a big poison play to make things work.
This looks like a great counter push for Patriots, honestly. I mean, like, the miner isn't much, but with the guards and the Ice Wizard behind it...
Notice, though, it's 1 minute 28 in overtime,
yeah.
and that is, like, still at 2k health. There's been no time spent on the other side of the map because Patriots has just been defending over and over and over again, refusing to use his poison for whatever reason.
Yeah. This game might actually go to a rare draw.
Yeah. So far, it's been very...
Ooh, and using the zap to stop those pushes.
So, interesting to note that Patriots 34 has no more elixir collectors on the field. We'll see if Bakalo can actually make the situation out of this.
And at this point, it's almost not worth pumping up, right?
Yeah.
There's less than 70 seconds, even in overtime, right?
Yeah.
So, looks like they might be going to a draw, and we go to a sudden death game for Patriots 34.
Ooh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's see.
All right, we'll get the bracket back up there. Whew. Thank you very much, admin, for cleaning that up. I appreciate it. Yeah. So here we are.
Oh, no. You gotta
Oh,
place
he's gonna
it.
charge.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. With 33 seconds left. Now, here comes the Prince gonna
There's
charge.
no direct damage spell. He actually needs to do that again.
No. And he can't. I think that was kind of a throwaway by Bakalo. He can't, like, just going in blindly after that. I think he needed to build up the Prince behind and try to get a bigger push there. He's doing it now with the Prince behind. I like the poison there. By pitch, he's just playing for a draw.
He's just zoning.
He knows he can't win, but he's playing for a draw. Ooh, I don't know about... Oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the 1 or 2 shots from a princess, but it's not...
5 seconds, I think, is too little.
Not going to work.
Wow. Oh, my God.
So we are going to a rare sudden death game between Bakalo and Patriots. They're going to play a game 4. Here's the rules of sudden death. We haven't done a lot of sudden death games in Super Magical Cup, but this is the rules how it's going to go.
We spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time thinking about it. So they're going into a 4th game. The 4th game is under sudden death rules, which means that if the first tower to go down at any point in the game, that player wins and moves on. Now, this might actually go, looking at the 2 decks at play, it might actually go into real sudden death. But if somebody takes a tower early on in the match, that decides it. Yes. Let me give them the yes. Game 4 is sudden death rules. There we go. Oh, shit. First tower by either side. First tower by either player wins. If a draw, lower single tower HP loses. So a player with, I'll just clarify, with 2,500 on 2 towers loses to the player with 1,000 and 1,000. Those are the sudden death rules. Lower single towers. Oh my God. Oh, we have never seen it. So we have sudden death rules right here. Patriots 34, Bakalo playing the double Prince deck against this minor deck, and the winner, first tower to go down at any point, determines the winner of this match and who moves on to the money rounds. And this is, oh no, this Dark Prince is going to come in. Oh, misses kind of awkwardly, unfortunately, because of that triangle shape.
Oh, and this is going to really hurt. Where are you going to play your guards?
Oh, and and the Prince is still charging.
Still a lot of damage.
He doesn't charge, but he does get up there and do a significant amount of damage. This is exactly what Bakalo wants early in the match.
You can't bop him because he has the extended range. It's hard to bop him out of range.
Wow, Bakalo takes an early lead here in this sudden death game 4. Miner's coming down. I don't know if it's going to reach the princess. It only needs 2 swings. He uses the guards to block, but that means guards are not going to be available to stop Mini P.E.K.K.A. and other sorts of cards. The poison there used much earlier than it was in the last round.
Yeah. Something interesting to note is based on the result of the last game, Bakalo is in a much better position because, as we noted, Patriots was playing very defensively the whole time. Even though he didn't lose, he wasn't able to put damage onto Bakalo's towers.
Yes.
So Bakalo is slated, if the game goes exactly the same way as the last, Bakalo's probably going to end up being the victor.
Whew. So both of them start off with their pumps in the middle. Bakalo puts his pump in the middle to defend against the enemy miner, because that way both towers can shoot at it. I like the Princess there to try to get ahead on that thing, but guards are going to come down. We've seen guards be the MVP really on both sides. I mean, guards have stopped and saved so many pushes here.
Absolutely. And this is the reason why you might consider in a double Prince deck the Lumberjack as opposed to the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Because really, none of these cards, like Princess, Dark Prince in a good situation is good against guards, but really it's hard. It's hard to get that situation as opposed
That's a really
to
good
playing
point.
a Lumberjack.
If Bakalo had Lumberjack instead of Mini P.E.K.K.A., who knows how many of these games go the other way, but then again,
Ooh,
wow.
Extended range.
Ooh, and unfortunately those guards are going to get chopped up. I actually think that went much better for Patriots 34 than it did Bakalo.
Princess is likely to tag onto the tower, actually.
Actually, you're right with the Dark Prince there to guard. Oh, the Prince is going to... Oh, it doesn't even get one shot, though. If the Princess swung once, that would have been a huge difference. Looks like the next Prince, though, comes right up.
Oh, my God. And this, again, Patriots is being put into this very defensive position.
Ooh, did that hit the... I can't tell if that Ice Spirit hit the Inferno Tower. Oh, great job there. You think this would be a good spot for Poison, but...
oh, the defense! Again! Saving the Princess.
And it locks on for one shot.
Oh, no.
No,
Good zap. Good zap.
Zap is surprisingly effective against double Prince decks, given that they don't really play any zappable targets.
Yeah.
The guards come out early, which actually might be bad for Patriots, because if he has to defend against a charge shortly after this, it doesn't happen.
Finally, Patriots get something on the other tower, but this is kind of what we're talking about. It's been so rare and far and few in between that Patriots has been able to really push any offense.
Oh no, and where's the... Oh no, one more swing!
It's going to
trade
really well.
The Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s up there! Does he swing once? Does he swing again?
God.
No, he doesn't! Oh my God, and there's no direct damage in Bakalo's deck. He has to get at least one Princess shot on it. I don't know if Patriots can stop that Princess shot or not. But here we are in sudden death overtime. He uses the Inferno Tower placed in the middle. Now Patriots has to play his Inferno Tower early, but that puts him in a really bad situation of having to have it out, before the last minute when he really wants it out.
There's no direct damage for Bakalo again, and this was the same situation as last game, so he actually needs to make it all the way to the tower. He's zapping.
Two zaps is enough.
He's zapping it
away. Two
away.
zaps is 135 damage, so with 128 or so on that tower, he's actually got a good shot here. With 1,500 tower health, I don't see how Patriots can do it, and Bakalo might be moving on to his first top 4 performance ever. What a game! What a game! Bakalo wins. 2-1-1. Rare that we get matches that end like that.
There's a spoiler on there.
Oh God. So we can't put the bracket up. I'm sorry, guys. We're not gonna put the bracket up. So we have to watch 2 more matches now. Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
Well, let's go check out Chicken Bob versus Zadian. So we got to turn these.
We have the match preview there. Good.
And then let's make these, or change these guys up. So we've got a giant boulder. Ooh, giant boulder poison for Chicken Bob. Okay, so this is the sort of the meta deck, I think, of the last 2 weeks. The deck that everyone sort of sees like, oh, this is really popular. It's all over the place. We're not sure what we're going to need to do about it.
And then we've got
Minor Hog Cycle.
Hog Cycle, yep, with Minor and the Cannon.
This is what Zadian won with, actually, pretty recently. I don't know if it's the exact card for cardless, but he played a Minor Hog Cycle deck with Mini P.E.K.K.A., and the 3 different attackers of the tower was pretty scary. Let's go ahead and get into the match.
This is the Payfecta with the Hog Rider. Oh, wow. Bakalo moves on. And Patriots 34 gets shut down.
Whew. And despite all that, the Hog gets one swing in. So I didn't see if there was a zap coming in from Zadian's side, but that looked like he spent far more on defense than what Zadian committed on offense.
Yeah. Ooh, uncomfortable situation for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to be in here.
Yeah, because he's getting... Oh, the skeletons distract him, so leaving the bowler free reign.
The bowler makes it. Oh, no, he doesn't make it.
He's distracted. The Ice Wizard is one of the best...
he pushed it back. He made it.
Oh, my God. It's a roller coaster of emotions for that bowler.
Nice. And that was pretty good, too, boulders. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, when there's only 2,500 damage on the tower, 2,500 health, the 233 that each bowler swing does is significant. I mean, 2 bowls is 20%. It does about 10% of your tower health each bowl, so you really can't ignore that guy.
Yeah. Simple Hog Rider play, just even the game up, but now you have to defend this bowler again, and you have a little tiny cannon instead of an Inferno Tower.
Ooh.
How is he going to change his defense this time?
Ooh, I mean, the Minor behind is good in the sense that it distracts the bowler away. But, man, again, Minor on defense is not necessarily the card you want to be playing.
Ice Wizard had been laying waste to that tower, though.
Yes. Again, Ice Wizard is another of those cards like Bowler, not good DPS for the cost, but so sturdy, so survivable, such a good defensive card that you can usually defend with it, have it survive, and go back and contribute 50 to 200 damage on every push. Now that is a very unfortunate for that Hog Rider. He spends 6 on defense, but that Hog Rider I don't think he's going to get any damage in.
Oh, yep, nice.
And 5 elixir of that 6 elixir survives to push back.
And now you have to use the cannon again, and the bowler is just sitting there waiting to bowl the mini P.E.K.K.A.
I actually like the placement of that mini P.E.K.K.A. because against the wall, there's only so far that he can get me knocked back, and there's not a lot of space to put other units in there.
Slowly that tower is being chipped down, 3-digit health, and maybe 1 swing from the giant.
Oh, wow. I mean, Zadian really did everything right there on defense. He had Ice Wizard, he pulled it
Turned the bowler around.
This might be really good news for this Hog Rider until it gets frozen and then chopped in half. Wow, Chicken Bob is playing great defense against these this Hog Cycle defense.
I would almost say that once you see that bowler committed, play the Hog Rider on the other lane.
I think it's a good point. Yeah, don't play the Hog Rider aggressively. Let the bowler dictate where the Hog Rider goes. And those guards are just chopped up. They don't have a chance. I think this might be the key push right here. Maybe not this one, but
I think you should play
poison from
minor Hog Rider on the other side.
Ah, you're right. Minor Hog Rider on the other side. Well, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, he's really behind an elixir now, so maybe at this point in the game it wouldn't be effective simply because he's fallen too far behind. But I think you're right that strategically trying to attack into a bowler deck is asking for trouble.
I mean, there's so many creative things that you can do, right? When you're in that situation, even if you didn't think that... So really what you want to do is make Chicken Bob... Or rather, make Chicken Bob take the bait, where he wants to put Elixir down his left lane to defend. So you play the Miner to signal that you're committing to that lane because you have all this counter push from your defense, right? So play the Miner to use assist, and then Chicken Bob will want to play Elixir on his left lane. Then you play the Hog Rider and have the Princess on the right side, and there's no Elixir to defend that.
Right, exactly. 100%. I think let's see if Zadian adapts and does that now, because there's no giant deck this time, but there's still pumps, there's still towers, guards, Ice Wizard, that kind of stuff. So the openings are kind of the same. I actually think Zadian has a better matchup with this deck than against the last one, because the rocket on Chicken Bob's side is not very good. Like, what are you rocketing? Right? Like Ice Wizards, Princesses. The mini P.E.K.K.A.s and Hog Riders move pretty fast. It's actually hard to rocket them because it's hard to make that predictive shot.
Yeah. We'll see. I think decision making on like trying to split push is really important for Zadian right now. All right, we did it with the special quote. He says, "Chicken Bob's alternate deck is Cancer," which
this pure rocket cycle is a totally legitimate strategy. And actually, I think that the reason why it's coming back is because people have all committed to these big, slow, grindy push decks. And if you're going to give people like a minute in the middle of the game to just not attack, they're going to take that advantage and try to hit you.
Princess locked out the tower. One more shot.
Nice zap.
Nice.
What was left there wasn't a lot in terms of the cost, but I think it was worthwhile to get that to defend the Princess because it forces more elixir.
He didn't have elixir to do anything for that.
Wow. And Bowler comes in, but 3 shots, maybe 4 shots.
Pushed it away right before it got the.
Unfortunately, now actually, Zadian's sort of in a bad position now where one tower is so far gone that he has to kind of Hog Rider down that lane.
Minor, good defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really key. If Chicken Bob can defend his Elixir Collectors, Zadian's going to have a really hard time because of the struggle of Hog Rider against it. He plays this new one in the middle, not only to distract the Hog Rider, which it looks like the Hog Rider's going to try and take it down.
So that's interesting. Both sides... Now it wipes out it wipes out the Hog Rider's ability to go one side or the other. Yeah.
So it's weird because I think Chicken Bob played that Elixir Collector in the middle to hope to distract Hogs, and Zadian seemed very happy to do so.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there was a difference in like opinion of the two players regarding that play. Chicken Bob's like, haha, if he sends his Hog Rider here, that's so dumb. And Zadian's like, sweet, 7 elixir off the board for me.
Yeah.
And there's another rocket. And, even though it's only dealing it to the 3, he's basically only getting 3 elixir off the board from Zadian's side, it is slowly but surely catching up.
I actually think the order of operations there was interesting, and I'll talk about it later. Okay, so it surrounds the bowler. But the order of operations, I think you should play your Princess in the back, and then play the Miner to assist, and then the mini P.E.K.K.A. at the bridge. Yeah. Because then, once they play the guards, you can use the Princess Splash and the Zap to instantly take down the guards, or at least lower their health by an incredible amount.
That makes sense.
as opposed to having the guards appear, not have the princess
Hog
ready to splash.
I feel like this is a great time to Hog Rider
Yep.
on the right side.
This is a big opening here. So he could actually play guards Hog Rider.
He's doing the mini P.E.K.K.A. there to fight that. I think that's a really bad place for the mini P.E.K.K.A. though for Zadian because it's just going to get knocked back.
Yep.
It's never going to reach.
Yep. Oh, over the boulder.
Oh, man. That Dukes of Hazzard move I think was really cool.
That Hog Rider was
But
actually movie hero.
Oh, no.
Oh, that actually, yeah.
One more rocket until dead. And again, those guards are just not effective. I mean, they're actually really good if you split them up, and it's not too bad. But, like, wow. It's just been really hard for Zadian to stick damage with this deck. And Chicken Bob looks like he's going to win 2-0 because there's really nothing. Yeah, he's one rocket away from dying. Chicken Bob needs to save up 2 more elixir, fire that rocket to win the game. And here it comes.
Oh, boy.
2-0 for Chicken Bob.
Man. Yeah, you really have to think about creatively if you... And it's such a common interaction. We got the chat.
Yeah, we got the. I'm putting the bracket back up. I'm trusting admin this time.
It might not be the... Maybe the players are reporting. I don't know.
No, the play. Oh, maybe that's if the players are self-reporting scores and they shouldn't do it. Don't. Oh no, God. Put the screen blockers up. I'm goofing up now. All right. So Bakalo is the first member of the top 4. Chicken Bob is the second member, advancing 2-0. Let's watch Trainer Chris Naruto Uzumaki.
Yes, Trainer Chris.
Ooh, we got some pretty cool looking decks here.
All right.
Trainer Chris running the minor Poison Inferno that we kind of a variant on what we just saw out of Chicken Bob there. Except Chicken Bob ran the rocket as opposed to maybe Poison, some of those other cards.
So I actually really like Naruto's deck against this defensive setup because you have the Lumberjack for the guards, you have the Prince for the Inferno Tower, then you have Poison to slow things down, and Giant as a big body to just survive across the bridge. So I think overall it's just really great. And sending the Lumberjack in first to tank on the Inferno Tower is better than... I mean, ideally you want something like Minions or Goblins or something cheapy to tank Inferno Tower, but Lumberjack doesn't do too bad because it moves really fast. It can get its value by attacking really quick, and then even when it dies, it drops rage, which helps the units subsequently to take down
If you are
Tower.
pretty much admitting like something has to die to the Inferno Tower, the Lumberjack is the best thing to like send in to die. It's certainly better than a Dark Prince, right?
Yeah.
And given how awkwardly we've seen the Dark Prince and guards hit each other, you could argue even that Lumberjack is better.
Yeah.
Because of how it's gonna actively sit there and hit those guards very quickly, whereas sometimes the Dark Prince hits just one at a time and then doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah. Lumberjack is a good card. Lumberjack is a good card. Oh man. The chat. All right. They've done their handshakes. Collector for each. Oh, ooh, wow, no response. Interesting. He had the Lumberjack in hand. Maybe he just values the timing. Oh,
it's funny. It switches over to the Giant, then to the Tower. That miner's just hitting everything.
Yeah,
A shovel for everyone.
Couldn't decide.
You get a shovel. You get a shovel. You get a shovel.
Oprah Winfrey Miner.
Oh, great. Now we talked about that earlier in the group stages. If this is your first Super Magical Cup and you heard us talking about that earlier, the minions in the middle is one of the greatest counters.
And there it is, the rage.
Yeah, and
He
it's
has
like
the
the Prince is coming in hard. Boom, knocks it down.
Oh my
coming in for
God.
that Ice Spirit, and it charges even faster. Hey, look, it may not have hit the tower, but Naruto is now 1 elixir up. Right? After kind of being behind after that minor play, is able to pull ahead. Now, if he can play another collector and defend it, I think Naruto can continue to do those sort of cycles.
Collector will have
win.
changed that dynamic of the push incredibly, and also in double elixir phase. Ideally, he wants the collector now and to set up that push situation again, because the one thing that was missing in that push was zap.
Well, that was a really weird Lumberjack. Why did he play his Lumberjack in front of his tower? Like, that's... Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. The grand scheme.
That's a great poison, though, because he gets not only the collector, but a lot of that mini P.E.K.K.A., and that mini P.E.K.K.A. is probably going to die as well.
Yeah.
And that's not a good poison for Trainer Chris, because that pump was already pretty much dead.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help the thing get there. So actually, Naruto's slowly getting ahead. 1 elixir up, 2 elixir up.
I think
about 1.5
Naruto's
elixir
push
ahead.
will be incredibly successful. So he doesn't have Lumberjack, so that kind of hurts. But I think Naruto's push, if he emulates that first push he did and just zaps the Inferno Tower, he will have an incredible situation for himself.
Whatever he's going for. I'm surprised he didn't try to cycle back to the pump. He's just going for it with a minute to go.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see. So Inferno Tower is
guards.
definitely away from
Guards in
cycle.
front. And where's... Oh, he's not... He does put down the minions, but it's a little too late unless he wants to zap it right now. The Prince goes down, unfortunately. But it looks like the Lumberjack is still alive. I don't see a zap coming down on the Inferno Tower.
Oh boy.
Ooh, and that's going to go down as well.
Yeah. The cycle. The cycle is so important.
Very tight game.
Yeah.
I mean, both towers are really near full health. Something's going to have to really happen in double elixir time. Or else we might be seeing our second draw of the top 8.
Yeah, I definitely favored Naruto because the fact that you have a lot of tower health means that you can sacrifice tower health to make sure your cycle is perfect. And we know that Lumberjack, Prince, Giant is a very explosive combination. If it gets to the tower in a even semi-decent way, that tower is going down.
Pretty scary counter push here coming from Trainer Chris. The Giant's there to tank a lot of it.
And
the poison that's 9 elixir, though, to defend against, what, 10?
Yeah.
So I guess while it works, it's...
Yeah. Uncomfortable situation, and now he doesn't have really a good counter push option.
Not at all.
But he's playing collectors. Defend against the miner is going to be important. There's no poison on the table because Trainer Chris just used it for offense purposes.
Now Naruto is plated on the right side there because he wants to totally avoid the poisons and the miners altogether. So putting it on the side where if you're going to play it there, you're
I think it's too late to punish that collector. If he plays a miner, he's actually going to lose his push. Is that
great,
the tower?
Great place of the poison because, those minions didn't even survive. Is the Prince going to charge it?
Yeah,
no, he's
stuck.
stuck.
Lumberjack.
Oh, and he hits the mini P.E.K.K.A. instead. You'd much rather have him kill the Inferno Tower. Is he going to get up and get some shots? Not even one. Wow. So Trainer Chris really got away with that 1,000 health there on that tower, and he's still going.
Wow. And that time, actually, the read was correct.
Yes.
So he tried to place the collector biased towards the side, so it did get poisoned, but it still did. It still did. Prince is actually pretty free to move.
Ooh, and not a single minion hit the Ice Wizard. Even one hit of a minion onto an Ice Wizard would have made that charge lethal.
Trainer Chris's line of play is actually starting to favor him more and more with each of these pushes.
We're going to have to see some adaptation out of Naruto if he's going to win this game. Oh, guards
Rage
get in there!
Tower.
Ooh, wow. So I think it's only 1 or 2 poisons away, depending on how... Yeah, 2 poisons away from losing this game.
Nice
Whoa, but this push is looking pretty scary.
There's not a lot of elixir on the table for Trainer Chris, actually. That Giant is really
no,
helping.
The Giant's really close, and there's a Prince right behind it, and I think a mini P.E.K.K.A. coming in. That poison's going to do a good job of cleaning it up, but no, one more Giant push, and Naruto steals it. Another close game.
And that's what we're talking about in terms of lines of play are so important, and if Naruto makes that push work for him, that Giant will punch down that tower in one go. And that's exactly what we were waiting for. The cycle, I think, started favoring... it started favoring Trainer Chris a lot towards the end of the match, but then I think he pushed a little too all in and just ended up in this situation where he had not a lot of elixir because he had dumped so much of it in aggressive play that the Giant was able to make a lot of headway onto that Inferno Tower on the counter push.
Let's bring, wow, we got a Giant Bowler Poison Mirror match here, and actually, they are card for card identical with the exception of Lumberjack and Mini P.E.K.K.A. Let's go ahead and put those guys on the board.
So I think I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Oh, actually, Lumberjack's blue. Yeah.
So Mini P.E.K.K.A. has advantages over the Lumberjack. It does more DPS, but doesn't drop the rage. And I believe the Mini P.E.K.K.A. has a little bit more health. Yeah, we can see the stats right there.
Yes.
So in this situation, I think that my gut feeling is that the Lumberjack is just a little bit better because rage is an effect that complements multiple troops on the field. Right, and just in that sense, you gain a better benefit by playing the Lumberjack over time than the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, if your deck can use the Rage at all, then the Lumberjack is better. I mean, it's hard to say in this matchup because really what's going to be key in this matchup is who can line up their, kind of their Giant. But what you're going to see happen a lot is the Giants are going to cross each other. And both players' back lines are going to be crushing each other's back lines. Or each other's Giant and then trying to race up to their Giant and save the day. I think in that case, you'd rather have Mini P.E.K.K.A. because the Rage doesn't come into play till much later, but you want to kill your Giant as quickly as possible in order to, get up to your Giant and start attacking them, because as long as the enemy backlines are caught up on their Giant, your, rescue crew can kill all of them and then your push gets through.
I can definitely see a situation where if you play your Lumberjack in front of your Giant, that might change the dynamic a lot.
I see.
Because then, even if the Mini P.E.K.K.A. kills the Lumberjack, then the Giant starts walking really fast, and your supporting troops behind will kill the Mini P.E.K.K.A. really quick.
I mean, it's hard to say because there's some decks where if you're playing a Balloon deck, I really like Lumberjack more than Mini P.E.K.K.A. because the Rage is so good with Balloon. In mirror matches, even though that is the only difference between these two decks, I almost think that it's going to come down to the play of things like Ice Spirit, like if you get off a really key Ice Spirit or a really key poison, that could totally change the flow of the entire game. Or even just little things like Trainer Chris starting off with an Elixir Collector and Naruto not having any way to really deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Actually, that's really
Look
good.
at like I'm talking about right there. See, like everything's fighting the giant and it's allowing the Musketeer to kill the enemy Musketeer. So now Naruto is ahead.
Wow, one punch.
Yeah.
This bowler is going to take a lot of damage, though.
I think it just dies, yeah. So I think, I mean, you gotta say Trainer Chris came out ahead there because he's got a pump. They're at the same elixir.
The hand just didn't favor. I mean, Trainer Chris had a very ideal situation. Got the bowler, got the Musketeer, got the poison, got the collector.
Great read there. So what Trainer Chris reads is like, I know my opponent's gonna collector now. So as soon as he tries to collect, oh wow, that Ice Spirit not landing is huge though.
So the Lumberjack,
he gets to the side. Oh no, he gets knocked again.
I would have actually preferred if that Lumberjack had died in that situation.
I think, I mean, if he hadn't get knocked back 2 to 3 times, if he had gotten around to the side earlier, he would have killed that bowler and then gotten on the tower. And I think that would have been better than just a raged giant. Yeah. But yeah, that was sort of the worst of both worlds there. But I mean, you can't actually, that was a great push. Yeah. I mean, what Trainer Chris read there is like, I know my opponent's going to pump up and I'm going to take advantage of this by pushing right when he tries to pump. Now Naruto was able to defend because of that, how well that bowler worked. And now Naruto's ahead 1.5 pumps.
Yeah. Aftermath is, now Naruto's ahead in pumps, lower in tower health.
And ahead by 4 elixir.
Yep. So this is going to be a big key moment for Naruto here. He really needs to make sure that he does a lot of damage to this push.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, it looks like Trainer Chris is opting to not play his giant out early, so we're going to see. I think he's opting to basically play the backline stuff and try to kill the giant as quickly as possible, and then drop his giant in the aftermath.
Yeah.
Great. Now here's where we're going to see Lumberjack rage, maybe just a tower as well.
Yeah,
the Musketeer's
tower,
in the range.
bowler,
Oh, it is because he got knocked back. It got knocked back, so the tower is now raged. The Musketeer is raged. She just shoots down the mini pack, and she's still shooting. Even with the knockback of the bowler, the knockback makes the bowler retarget onto the enemy bowler, so that Musketeer is still firing. Wow.
And we talked about how important it was for Naruto to make sure that that particular push was really effective, and that was a handy defense for Trainer Chris. That's a lot of elixir coming down his bridge.
And was able to catch up again on pumps as well. And the interesting call where we were saying, well, what's better? The Lumberjack there was really good on defense because he knew the bowler was going to knock it back into the rest of his army.
Dropped the rage and affected 3 different key cards, the bowler, the tower, and the Musketeer.
Oh, the bowler. See, the bowler still survived. Oh, it doesn't get another shot off. The raged Musketeers are nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
I mean, doom, 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 doom. Kills that thing.
Yeah, cleans it all up. And now a second Lumberjack on the field. It's actually going to get around.
It does get around it. And now the mini pack is tied up. He's going. It's still going. Unfortunately, it's... it does. It gets... 2 swings.
Wow.
I think he'll take that. I mean, unfortunately, this push coming in is looking really scary. Now he doesn't have Lumberjack, but he does have Poison.
He's got Ice Spirit Lumberjack as a cycle.
Yeah.
But that bowler did really, really well.
Yeah, right. He hit the Musketeer and the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
And Poison's gone now, which means that Trainer Chris on his counter push can clump up a ton of units.
Except that there's a bowler, right?
We'll see. We'll see if this Lumberjack can squeeze by. And that Ice Spirit 2 jumps. There's the Rage. The Rage is going to pop.
Oh, Rage does go down. 1 punch.
Oh my God.
2 punch in overtime. Trainer Chris ties it up 1 game each.
It's just such good utility for things like Giant and Bowler to have that pump available, or rather the Rage available.
I mean, yeah, you could just see intimate knowledge of the mirror matchup there, right? Yeah. Intimate knowledge of how that was going to work. And honestly, I think that could be the turning point of the match, because if you look at what Game 3 is, Trainer Chris is playing a minor Poison Inferno Tower deck that this deck is meant to beat Giant Bowler, right? Yep. Like, Bowler isn't going to knock back the Inferno Tower, doesn't have that much health, gets completely wrecked. Those pushes can get entirely wrecked by just very few cards. Ah, man, if Naruto had won that game and closed out the match 2-0, he moves on to the top 4. But now he's given Trainer Chris an opening to not just tie the series up, but steal it in Game 3 with a favorable matchup.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's see how they do. I think the Lumberjack was incredibly effective, but
have to win with both decks. Yeah, this is really high stakes right now, because getting into the top 4 is the money.
You're right. While all players in the top 8 earn a significant amount of SuperMagicalCup points to move on to the championships, the Season 2 championships, the money comes in the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Edge of my seat.
Ooh, Game 3.
Edge of my seat. We've had so many intense, close games.
I can't believe we actually saw a sudden death game in the top 8. That was awesome.
The punish is guards.
And unfortunately, not a very good punch. I think he was just trying to go and bait out a zap or some other thing. But yeah, you can see that just gets completely garbaged against Bowler. Ooh, a little late on that Giant by Naruto. And we're going to see the work that this thing can do.
Ooh, why don't you
Ice
just play
Spirit.
the Mini P.E.K.K.A in the back?
Yeah, it should be onto the side.
Yeah.
That placement was really bad because he took 500 damage for kind of no reason.
Yeah, just the splash.
Oh, and a little late, too, on the miner because the tower shot it down.
Yep.
Oh, no!
God! Oh my God! Not like this.
Wow, so the King Tower is activated 50 seconds into the game. Now, if you're, again, new, it's your first Super Magical Cup, if the King Tower ever takes damage from a spell, troop, anything, he gets activated. He pulls out his cannon and becomes another active tower. So now, whenever Trainer Chris is trying to push, he's going to have to deal with not just the arena tower, the lane tower, but also the King Tower shooting his giants right up at the river.
There's almost no way to punish an Elixir Collector with a miner now. If you play Collector...
Oh, there's no giant, that's right.
If you play Collector and play your Ice Spirit whenever you see the trail for the miner, you will guarantee kill that miner before it really does anything.
Here's actually the key thing, and I wish I could like draw on the screen or show you guys, but actually there are places where the miner can be played. If the miner's played in the farthest left or right corner, farthest from the King Tower, it won't be attacked by the King Tower. So he does have a way to get around that. The downside is that now he can't really play miner on back row or center placed Elixir Collectors, and his miner placement's going to be very predictable to allow Naruto to block it if he chooses to go there. Look at that, 3 towers all shooting. That Ice Spirit is going to be brutal now. Whoa! Wow, so he just not only got a 1-for-3 counter, but did the most important thing, which is defend his Elixir Collector from enemy miners.
Yeah, for 1 Elixir, too.
And this isn't looking very good for Trainer Chris now. That one little tiny fatal error might be the difference in this game.
Yep. Poison is going to do well.
Does he have a zap now for the Inferno Tower?
Slow.
Yeah, they're all gummed up between the giant.
Oh,
and
double giant. Okay, you need to cycle your Inferno Tower really
Probably
quick.
still not a zap coming in, though, because you still want it to reset even now.
Yeah.
Oh, it goes away.
Another Inferno Tower going to be placed down.
Ooh, pulls it right back into it.
Oh, but the Musketeer might do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it does. It's going to shoot it down. And the bowler tanking even just the tiniest little bit. Two pop shots. Yeah. That's not great, but it is certainly the kind of push that you need. Every little bit of damage
he's
counts.
going for a punish. So he saw the Collector knows the Inferno Tower is just a little hard to deal with right now. And he's actually committing Elixir to stop the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And the Giant makes it over. Inferno Tower costs 5, man.
This is the game right here. Boom!
It's expensive. If you chose to, because it's interesting because from the defending player's side, if you play the Collector and you're 5 down, then you have a Giant as a response, Giant plus Mini P.E.K.K.A. If you play the Inferno Tower in the middle, that's going to defend against the Giant for a little while, but then the Mini P.E.K.K.A. comes up, swings, and zaps to reset the Inferno Tower charge, and then you're out of luck, right?
Yeah.
So if you play the guards to handle the Mini P.E.K.K.A., then you don't quite have enough Elixir to play the Inferno Tower, and then the Giant makes it to your tower and swings. It's a really tough situation to play out of. And that really demonstrates how important it is to manage your Elixir well.
We have one more top 8 game to watch. I forgot to put that thing up. Whew, great. I mean, we've had so many good games already. Brian RT versus Shreddy Wop is the final game of the top 8 until we move to into the top 4 of the money rounds. And ho, do we have a cool deck here?
Oh.
That's right, Lava Hound! Lava Hound has returned. We actually haven't seen any today, despite watching a whole lot of weird decks and different things out there.
Yeah.
Lava Hound has not made an appearance at much at all in the group in the earlier rounds, but we are here now.
Yeah, Lava Hound Miner is going to be a really, really effective combination, especially against, I think, a very slow deck like Bowler, anything really, Bowler Inferno Tower.
Yeah.
I think that with the existence of minions and ice spirits and guards, the Lava Hound is going to be well protected against the Inferno Tower. And then, even if the Lava Hound is chewed up a lot, the miner in the middle is going to guarantee that those pups get some amount of damage.
Yeah, the thing to watch for, if you've never really seen a Lava Miner deck before, is that when the Lava Hound explodes, it puts 6 pups out. Well, there's a split second where the pups don't exist, and the tower will immediately retarget onto something nearby. So if you can drop a miner just before the Lava Hound dies, when the Lava Hound dies, the tower locks onto the miner, and then the pups swarm and kill the tower. That's really the key thing that Shreddy Wop's trying to pull off, and of course Brian RT is going to try to make sure that with an Inferno Tower, that never really happens.
All right.
Boink.
Let's take a look.
Brian RT, Shreddy Wop, game 1. Ooh. All right, right, so Brian RT looks like he's hovering the Elixir Collector. Wants to start off with that. He does. I don't think he knows that Shreddy Wop is a real slow deck. So, but against anyone, pretty much, you want to get your pumps out as soon as possible.
All right.
So he sees it. It looks like he's trying to get the Inferno Tower down, but he doesn't want to cast it too early because then he opens yourself up to minions at the river and other sorts of things.
Yep.
Here you go. So he's going to play minions at the river. No, it's already locked on.
Can
he zap it? He
Yep.
can zap it. And he does even actually great zap because he also hit the Elixir Collector for 2 pumps as well.
Yeah, one of the minions survives.
Ooh. Unfortunately, the minion is attacking a bowler.
He didn't play the miner in time.
Oh, it came out just a little too late there.
Yeah.
And it seems like he had the Elixir, and it might have just been a cycle problem. Like you have to draw the card, and there's usually a 1 second or so delay before getting that card out.
Yeah. Fairly good defense for Brian RT, and pretty good defense for Shreddy Wop. That single bowler didn't do a lot of damage just because the mini P.E.K.K.A. was able to chew through it.
So he's coming in now.
See.
Brian already has the Inferno
Nice.
Tower, but with the pre-minions,
That's
where can
tough.
you play it now?
That's tough.
Wow, and it looks like Brian RT knows that he's in trouble. And those minions, even though they died to the poison got
is
about.
bad time.
Yeah.
Bad time because now the pups are really going to hurt.
And
I
here
think
comes the
Shreddy
bowler.
Wop should cycle to the miner right now.
Yeah, he needs to play, like, I would actually try to get anything out of your hand right now. Like, like Ice Spirit Miner as much as you can. Wow, Miner comes in, though, for Brian RT's side to help tank for that bowler.
Interesting. The cycle is a little bit off for Shreddy Wop, but he's doing already really well.
The bowler great bowler knockback there because it actually made him retarget. I just noticed Shreddy Wop, level 3 guards, living the dream.
Yeah.
Shreddy Wop top 8'd last week as well, so this is back-to-back top 8s for Shreddy Wop.
Has been playing really well as of late.
Yes. Oh, no. And I think that bowler is going to get chewed up. Oh, great Ice Spirit there. I would ignore the miner probably because the miner, okay, I guess he's just doing that to get it in the push. But ultimately, you don't. Oh, great. Oh, wow. The Ice Spirit didn't make it there. The Ice Spirit could have been a second zap shortly after the first zap to really let that Lava Hound do a lot of damage. I really like that poison, though, because it's hitting not just the Inferno Tower and the bowler, but of course the collector and the tower.
I really like this because Shreddy Wop has rearranged his hand that now he has Lava Hound and the miner.
Yes, at the same time. That's a good point.
Yep. And he has the minions ready to go.
Can he drop the Lava Hound?
If there's a delay for long enough.
Oh, the zap there just getting punished because now the miner's down tanking, which means those minions are free to just swing up until the Ice Spirit blocks. God, Ice Spirit's so good.
Yeah, Ice Spirits are really good.
But Shreddy Wop, going into overtime now, actually doesn't need to cast any more Lava Hounds. He can just poison and zap, maybe
and
2 zaps or whatever for the win.
Seems like that's what he's committed to doing here.
He's got to stop this bowler. By losing 4 elixir to that poison, he's already kind of behind, and this could certainly wipe his tower out if he's not very careful.
Yep, he needs something to tank against that bowler. Oh, God.
Ice Spirit saves the day. Oh, and the miner goes in with the poison and wins it.
Yeah, if you look at that situation, even though that bowler will tag onto the mini P.E.K.K.A., it's actually not really going to help because the splash will still hit the tower. 2 boulders on a 500 health tower is getting really close to defeating it.
Right.
Just a zap or a single tick of the poison will take it down.
So Shreddy Wop wins game 1 and goes up 1-0 in the series. Game 2, now Shreddy Wop has to switch decks, so he can no longer play the Lava Hound Miner deck. He's opted to switch to, again, one of these Inferno Miner control decks. This one also doesn't have poison. It has Princess instead. This looks very similar to the Pompeo version that we saw going around, the triple legendary with the 3/2 cost cycle cards. So Shreddy Wop will definitely be trying to play like a little chip game, but of course so will Brian RT with this Hog Cycle deck. I don't know if this is the first game that we've seen today that doesn't have an Inferno Tower, an Elixir Collector on either side.
Yeah, no collectors, so they're just going to be throwing their cards into each other.
I haven't seen a lot of Princess up here on the featured troop board. Let's go ahead and put her up. Game 2, the last top 8 round before moving into the top 4. Ooh. Who will be the last person to join the top 4 round and get to live in Reddit fame for all of a day?
Yes, indeed. Brian RT versus Shreddy Wop. Shreddy Wop did really well. I really like his Lava Hound deck.
Ooh, those guards there are definitely gonna. I mean, God, guards are. It's so weird because in some matchups against like giant bowler poison decks, guards feel like terrible. Like they have very, very few uses. But against some decks, they're just like the MVP card. It's so hard to decide whether or not you should or should not be playing.
This is a big connection.
Incredible opening for Brian RT. Not only did he use the minor zap really well, but he tanked a long time for that. Oh my God! It takes a tower within the first 45 seconds of the game.
That is a big Hog Rider. It's very rare to see Hog Rider plays that huge these days. And guards again. And
he's actually able to defend the Ice Wizard, and that counter push goes nowhere. Brian RT, with only a minute into the game, has a commanding lead.
Fantastic.
Same Elixir too. So like even after all said and done, he's not even behind an Elixir.
And that just goes to demonstrate the strength of an Ice Spirit Hog Rider push. 5 Elixir for incredible value. Of course, he had the minor and the zap, but really the addition that he put onto his push was just the Ice Spirit Hog Rider at the end, and he knew that it was going to get. It's a good zap. There was the Princess and the Goblins.
I mean, Brian is even getting ahead in these little skirmishes by defending his Princess, whereas Shreddy Wop was not able to. Uh-oh.
It's an interesting situation. When a tower is down, it's actually very hard to justify Hog Rider play, so Brian RT has to be a little bit careful about how he commits that Elixir.
Yeah, it's almost like he'd almost rather play three-handed and not Hog Ride the rest of the game unless there was some big, giant, overwhelming opening that would force the opponent to react to it. Because I think you're going to win this game 1-0 at this point.
Zap.
Does zap.
There we go.
And it lets the Ice Wizard and Minor have such a good synergy because the Ice Wizard, while not doing a lot of damage, slows the attack of the tower, giving the Minor effectively extra hit points, which allows him to get more damage through.
Yeah. So really, I think the ideal way for a Hog deck to play at this point is to actually punish the opponent for trying to make an aggressive play by trading. And so by the time, even if your opponent takes down one tower, their second tower is low enough that you can just play a Hog Rider and finish it off.
I think Shreddy Wop's in a really bad situation now, too, because this deck is not meant to attack. It's a control deck, right?
Yeah.
It's a control deck. It's supposed to just defend, and chip you away. It doesn't have it in it to put together these massive attacks. And when you lose a tower in the first minute, you're the aggressor for the rest of the game. And Brian RT's deck is just not paired up for it. Of course, Brian RT's deck should almost never lose a tower, so it's crazy. That Shreddy Wop's deck's never meant to lose a tower. So the fact that Brian RT was able to pull that off in the first push of the game is...
Yeah. Really, really good setup for Brian RT, and he's going to just coast
take it away, I mean, I think with a minute to go, that was his game to... With a minute into the match, that was his game to lose.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to a game 3, and this is a really big game 3 between these two.
No.
I think this is it. Hold on, let's take a look. Oh, that's game 1. Yeah, you're right. And that was game 2. Game 3 all the way down here.
Yep.
And let's see, we got Brian is running. Oh man, I gotta put big old bowler up.
Bowler Inferno.
Oh, he Princess there.
Minor. More bowler.
Yeah, it's crazy how bowler last week being super popular in these giant bowler beatdown decks. I think people have determined a week later that it's such a great defensive card and maybe not the strongest offensive card that they're playing it in this. And the minor Inferno control decks have just added it instead of Mini Pecker or whatever else it was playing in that spot. And been doing very well so far in this tournament.
Yeah. Well, let's see how they match up. Good luck. Such mannered players.
So both are control decks, right? Neither player is actually looking to attack. So I think what's going to come down to is, Shreddy Wop has Princess, and that's an advantage that Brian RT doesn't have. So if Shreddy Wop can really spam those Princesses, that'll be very, very advantageous. I don't think either deck has Collector in it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Brian RT has one down on the board right now. So Brian RT, if he can play and defend those Collectors, could be the difference in the game because Shreddy Wop's deck does not have Collector.
Yeah. Interesting. Had to take a few swings on that Collector. Unfortunate situation, but relatively okay defense.
It's actually really good for Brian RT that he knows right away this is a minor deck. He knows it from the last game, right? So he can just from the start play his Elixir Collectors in the middle.
Yeah.
He looks like he's waiting for the old one to expire to play the new one, and he does right as he hits 10. Good timing there. I mean, you don't want to play any of them behind because then that's easier for a minor to attack.
Nope.
But for only one Elixir, I think he's only going to take one shot. Oh, 2 shots.
2 shots, yeah.
Well, what is 2 minor shots, right? That's 300 damage.
I think it's a pump each, right?
I think that's actually about 400. No, I think it's more than that. Because 2 attacks. Oh no, you're right. It's probably about 1 pump each.
Yeah.
Because
it's about 1 pump each.
each attack is like 2 attacks is 300 damage, which is like half of a fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Fireball takes off 4.
Yeah.
With the towers are going to get 1 swing. Ooh. Not great for the bowler, but Brian RT is doing what we were talking about, getting out multiple collectors to try to push a huge elixir advantage, and that way he'll be able to attack with minor poison and other stuff, whereas Shreddy Wop will not have nearly as much elixir to defend with.
So we are in this situation where we're seeing the...
Oh, good. Oh, wow,
Nice.
still died anyways. And as you can see, playing it there with only 1 tower attacking is a huge difference.
Yep.
That miner, even with the Ice Spirit, is going to get a lot of damage through on that elixir collector. The downside, though, is that while Shreddy Wop is able to keep him off of collectors, he has to use his miner on collector, letting Brian RT use his on towers.
Yeah. Ooh, good defense. Very good. So now the game changes. Finally, he's able to defend a collector. Now let's see what Brian RT does off of it.
Interesting. The miner was a little further back and wouldn't get hit by the Inferno Tower, but I don't think he expected the Inferno Tower either.
Yeah.
Here comes a miner should be coming in soon. The question is Brian going to be ready to defend it, or is he going to try to attack this princess? Okay.
Nice.
Pretty decent defense there, but it is going to come back alive and end up probably killing that elixir collector. I don't know if the Ice Spirit's even that effective.
Yeah.
About half.
Yeah, Ice Spirit is only a great defense when you have multiple towers attacking the miner.
Is he going to zap up there to get the miner onto the tower? Does not. Lets the goblin fight it. Goblins are going to come in and do some work on that bowler. Oh, psych. Next bowler.
Yeah, there's another bowler.
There's always another bowler. Wow, great way to turn around the bowler there and get it away from the Ice Spirit so the mini packet can swing. The mini packet moving up. 1 swing. Is he going to get a second swing? Does not.
Oh, barely.
But it also throws Brian RT off of his pattern. He has to use his miner to stop the princess.
Yeah.
Giving some more openings. Ooh.
That's in general a very
so
good
good.
defense, yeah. For anything coming down the bridge, it just really becomes problematic when the miner comes up behind. But even then.
So he throws it up front, away from any Inferno towers. So it looks like, oh, with the poison down, he's kind of tying the game back up now.
Yeah.
It looks like he will.
They're chipping each other.
2 pumps down for Brian RT. It doesn't look like there's going to be a punish here from Shreddy Wop. He's just going to try to defend and get that bowler off the board. Another bowler down the lane. Oh, man, it's funny. Neither of these decks can attack. They're just not attacking decks, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the miss zap! That could be huge there!
Oh, God. 15k down really quick. Just 1 stab.
And we're back into actually a really bad situation for Brian RT, where now he has to defend 2 different towers with kind of equal vigor.
Yeah. But he actually gets good uptime on that miner on the left side. And it's pretty close to being able to play miner, poison, and zap to really actually push that tower health down in a meaningful way.
Little greedy there. Even though it's the higher health tower, it's not by a significant amount. A poison plus miner on Brian RT's bottom right corner could be gnarly, but it looks like the miner
Watch out.
Once again, the guards cover the backside.
That
Here
miner,
we go. One more
left
shot.
side.
Oh, and the zap takes it down.
Brian RT knocks out Shreddy Wop.
I really like Shreddy Wop's pushes there, though, using the miner to turn around the bowler and have Mini Pack attack its backside. That's really inventive. It's something I haven't seen a lot of. Shreddy Wop makes back-to-back top 8s, but once again is unable to push into the top 4 as Brian RT takes the series 2-1.
It's interesting to think about that the Mini P.E.K.K.A was constantly being committed to offense, and really I feel like that was the only card that Shreddy Wop had to really handle the miner in a big way. Goblins and Fire Spirits are great, but they are fodder for Zap. And a miner Zap combination, if you play those units into it, I mean, Brian RT will be happy to do that.
So let's go ahead and move to the first game of the top 4. Switch this guy up.
It's going to be Bakalo versus Brian RT on the bottom side of that bracket.
Woohoo. So we're going to see Brian RT again. Bakalo, who was in the first match. We haven't seen Bakalo in about 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
To check up on him. So he's playing the double Prince deck against this Bowler Inferno deck. This will be a cool matchup because really, while the Inferno Tower and Guards and Ice Spirit are so good against the Princes, the Bowler really isn't. I mean, this deck is actually matched up pretty well against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Inferno Tower has just become... It's interesting because now I feel like Inferno Tower is like staple just because of the meta.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, no changes have been made to the tower. In fact, I think the last tower that got buffed was Tesla.
Yeah.
Inferno Tower is really, and it just goes to show how important.
And Inferno Tower got a 6% hit point buff because when the Zap stun retargeted it, It would do that. Which reminds us that if you'd love to see a history of balance changes throughout Clash Royale, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, SuperMagicalCup. Our history of the meta series spends one video each going through all of the balance changes and updates that have gone to the game. Supercell loves the series. They just tweeted it out this week. It's got over 10,000 views so far, so go ahead and check it out and make sure to give us a subscribe and a follow here on Twitch if this is your first time watching. If it's not your first time, we know you already follow. Okay, so let's get into this matchup. I'm such a mark for Bakalo. I love double Prince decks. I'm not even going to hide my bias, unfortunately.
I would say that I like double Prince too, but for the sake of argument, I'm going to say Brian RT.
I think Brian RT's deck is favored to win, right? Like, I think it actually... The only thing in their deck, in Brian RT's deck, that isn't great against the Princes is the Bowler. Yeah. But everything else is amazing. Like, I normally fold when I see decks that are like Guards, Ice Spirit, Ice Wizard, that kind of stuff. So,
and in some ways, the combination of the cards that Brian RT has can open up an opportunity where the Bowler can get a lot of value just because of its splash. Yeah. Like everything else aside, the Bowler can get a good amount of value because a 230 damage splash is not really something to laugh at. It's not the fastest thing, but then again, the Prince is not super quick, right?
Bakalo does guard the defender. I was going to say, actually, one of the things that really helps Bakalo in this matchup is how good this deck is against miners, right? So we're going to be seeing miners here. I didn't like that Ice Spirit because the Bowler was already there. Garen, I knew that was happening.
So that's something interesting about playing spirits down the lane that a Bowler exists in, is that they almost never. Yeah, they just.
So I think that might have just been a bad guess here. I like the Princess there, that placement. I actually wish it was further back because I'm afraid that it's going to get killed by something on the river. But he uses the Dark Prince to block. It's interesting to know that the shield absorbs one shot. Oh, the Ice Spirit comes in, the Zap comes in, and the Dark Prince charge takes it out. That's exactly what we've been talking about. And the Bowler as a desperation defense actually isn't that great. It goes down while the Prince is still standing and only not taking damage from their side, just perfectly timed. And it gets a charge in there as the mini pack on the other side. Bakalo is an exceptional split pusher, one of the best split pushers in the game. And this is exactly why I am such a fan of Bakalo's play. He split pushes with the best of them. That was an incredible way to not only counter an Inferno Tower, but catch Brian RT off guard while that Inferno Tower was down.
And the big thing, it's a split push that doesn't even use things like Three Musketeers, right?
Yeah.
He's not using Three Musketeers. He's not using Barbarians. He actually is just identifying and committing Elixir on each side individually.
Yes. Now, there's no poison in this deck, so he's going to have to actually hit that tower. But it only takes 3 zaps to kill that tower, and he's got a minute to do it. And, of course, any number of charges or hits are going to work. Now, Bakalo is purposely playing that Elixir Collector in the bottom right corner because he wants miners to come down that way so that he can play he's playing to see defenses on the side. He wants the miner to come down here so that he can hit it and then have his counterattacks go that way. If it was going on the left side, that doesn't help him as much.
Yeah, I think Brian RT kind of identifies that it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to play back, so he's just poisoned everything, hit the King Tower.
And will this Princess, I think the splash damage will actually hit.
Yeah.
Only one more, and the Ice Spirit gets hit, and this next shot does take the tower down. He has to use a miner on defense to defend. As you can see, the split pushing never stops with Bakalo.
And that miner was really just got softened up by that charge damage.
And that Ice Spirit was I mean, even though the mini pack is really not going to go anywhere, he forced Brian RT to put another 5 Elixir on the board when he needs to be attacking.
Yeah.
Brian RT's deck can't really attack. It's a super minor control deck, very, very defensive. It's meant to grind you out with poisons in overtime. I don't see how he can stop this in the next 7 seconds. Oh, those charges.
Incidentally, Inferno Towers become really, really weak when one tower is down.
That's a good point. When you're trying to attack.
You can just play mini Pekkas right in front of it.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
It becomes really difficult, yeah.
Wow, so Bakalo takes game 1 of that series, but now he can't play his favored double Prince deck. So while that was a great game 1,
that was just Bakalo really demonstrated I have mastery over double Prince.
Yeah.
And you will get dunked
if you
make a mistake.
Especially against Inferno Tower, which should be Prince can beat an Inferno Tower. So if you have the right way, if you know exactly what you're supposed to do, you can take advantage, and he really did there. Bakalo has to switch, and he switches to Giant Bowler, that thing.
Giant Bowler, and I guess this is the deck that I saw him playing in the qualifiers. He was probably just getting a lot of practice with it.
That's a good point. It's a very popular deck, and it's interesting because double Prince is an archetype where it's hard to play both lists as double Prince because you only get 4 cards to overlap between each deck, and if you do Prince and Dark Prince. And Mini Pekka, right? You're already at 3, so maybe you'd put Prince, Dark Prince, Collector. Then you have to try to choose between Zap and Prince. That's tough, right? So
you lose a lot of the utility.
Yeah. So I understand why he would play 2 distinctly different decks and instead choose to overlap Ice Spirit, Zap, Mini Pekka, and Collector between both decks. changing up really the combat instead of the support.
And you see a lot of different players in the Super Magical Cup kind of featuring different things that they think make them successful. Some players like to keep their utility. Some players like to keep their win conditions. Some players like to focus on a single card. You know, and so it's interesting to see Bakalo identifying he wants to keep most of his utility.
Yeah, and Brian RT though, again, I still think it's actually a good matchup though for Brian RT because I mean this is the exact deck you're trying to beat, right? The only downside is his guards aren't going to be very good.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. I would have a hard time with Giant Bowler getting through this deck for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Bakalo's deck, though, does have Collector. We'll see if he... Again, he's going to have to defend those Collectors, but this deck is way worse at defending Collectors.
Yes.
Because Bowler and Giant both cost 5. They don't really counterattack like the Prince's counterattack, right?
Alternatively, there is that situation where you can use the bullet to push it into King Tower, and this might be...
That's a good point. It's not going to push it that far, but
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
gonna
Like
die.
that's 2 extra elixir, but look how little damage he took.
Yeah.
Like even if you take his health and divide it by his elixir cost, that wasn't 3 of his 5 cost,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, how do you get past the Inferno? Show me. Okay, the
Bowler's on the other side, right? Yeah, so that... Oh, and the zap... Oh, but again, great job using the absorbing the Ice Spirit. Yeah. So it looks like this push is going to go nowhere, but Bakalo is now aware, I guess, that there is an Inferno Tower.
Yep.
But man, that mini P.E.K.K.A. not a great answer, but an answer. Right?
Yeah.
It dies right away to the Inferno Tower. He doesn't even have to defend it all.
Which is pretty much
Actually,
if you wrote the biography of the mini P.E.K.K.A., that is like its life.
Brian RT is actually in a great position. He's up by 3 elixir right now. Gets a pump down. Bakalo, I guess, is gonna have to get a collector down and then defend right after. But what is he gonna defend with? There's like nothing great to defend with here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can play that Bowler in front to knock it. No, okay, it's not.
Interesting. I actually maybe would have just let that happen.
I don't even know why Brian RT went with the... I mean, I know why I went with the Miner because his deck is a deck that only deals damage with Miner and Poison. But I think he would have been better off poisoning the Collector and the Tower and then either sending in the Miner or not. But, like, I don't think just the Miner there was a better use of Elixir.
All right. Bowler wins.
Guards come in to go in front of the Giant. Where's your Inferno Tower now? Oh, he's not even going to play the Giant. Oh, wow. Brian RT, that's actually a better poison than the one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And you do have a little duration of time while your poison will still be maximum effective. So it was well timed.
Wide opening, though. He didn't get his Inferno Tower out. And with the freezer, the mini P.E.K.K.A. can swing once, twice, 3 times? Nope, no, he gets pushed back into the guards. But that poison's going to finish off that Bowler. Wow, Bakalo. I don't even know how he got that through. Did Brian RT just like... I think he had it in cycle, but he accidentally went too low in elixir.
Yeah, I think he just barely didn't have enough elixir. And then also the mini P.E.K.K.A. to the side meant that if he committed that 5 elixir, it would have been chopped away by the mini P.E.K.K.A. instantly. And that's kind of that issue before with Bakalo too, where I can't remember.
That's really early.
Patriots, Patriots had to play the guards to block the mini P.E.K.K.A. and still couldn't push back the Giant. It's a similar situation. If you play that Inferno Tower too close, it'll get chopped away by the mini P.E.K.K.A. really quick, and then you're down 5 elixir, and the Giant is still alive.
That poison for Bakalo, tons of value. Not only is it hitting the tower, grinds down the Inferno Tower, hit those guards and pretty much killed them. And the mini P.E.K.K.A. was able to, the Musketeer was able to sit back and help shoot. The knockback of that last Bowler shot actually puts mini P.E.K.K.A. back on defense wherever she wants to be. And one punch here, just as we go into overtime, takes it down for Bakalo. Bakalo makes his first finals.
Yeah.
Top 8'd back-to-back a few weeks ago. Didn't have so much luck the last 2 weeks. Was one of my players to watch over the last weeks. I said, this guy is a great player. Like,
he is a great
awesome player, very inventive, plays different decks. I mean, I know Giant Bowler, but the Double Prince is very different. I'm super excited to see Bakalo make the finals.
His decision-making has been really, really on point today.
Yeah, but congratulations to Brian RT, who I think was playing in his first Super Magical Cup and gets all the way to the top 4. That isn't. We're going to keep an eye on Brian RT in the future because... I mean, that's a tough field today to cut through multiple veterans to get into the cash money rounds.
Absolutely. So Bakalo makes it. Hopefully he didn't eat his mom's spaghetti today, because that might be popping back out.
And we have Chicken Bob versus Naruto Uzumaki.
Nice. So this is going to be the Rocket deck and Naruto's alternate deck. I think he's going to play his basic giant bowler, but Naruto's alternate deck was a... I can't remember. It was a very unique one, though. He had a good, nice deck.
Was it the 4 Horsemen deck? No. That was someone else.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll have to take a look. I also have a hard time remembering. Let's go ahead and put Musketeer up. I've been really impressed with Musketeer in some of these games. Like a free Musketeer for Naruto Uzumaki will do a really good job at shooting the guards from afar, shooting the Ice Wizard, taking out the bowler, provided the bowler is locked on in some other direction.
Yeah.
But Chicken Bob is going to have a lot of great rocket targets. I've actually heard some pro players say that rocketing bowler pushes is like the closest thing they get to an orgasm. Like that's it. Like you got a bowler, a mini P.E.K.K.A, and a Musketeer all bunched up, and you just see that. Yeah. Yes. So
as it's happening, you're just
let's take a look.
Let's see who will be the other finalists to follow Bakalo.
Game 1 of this top 4 round. Both players are playing collector and bowler, which seems to be actually the trend of this week. I've seen a lot of elixir collectors and a lot of bowlers and assorted archetypes. I mean, last week we didn't hardly see any of these minor Inferno decks at all in the field, and the ones we did see certainly weren't playing bowler. But now it seems to be a pretty common archetype, which tells me that maybe in Toronto today we're going to see some bowler minor Inferno decks take it home.
Yeah, what are we going to see? Ooh, nice.
Option. Chicken Bob didn't rocket it, which is kind of weird. Maybe he didn't have it right away and you have to wait like 10 seconds. Or maybe he doesn't want to reveal the rocket too early.
Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, this is going to be a good defense.
Oh, that Musketeer gets knocked back over and over again. It's going to be... Oh, never mind. The bowler actually turns away, letting that Musketeer shoot. And this is what we were just talking about. If the Musketeer isn't dealt with, look at the damage it pulls up, and it can defend behind that bowler.
Ooh. Good positioning on the guards.
Oh, is it going to finish it up? It does. Oh, it has to get zapped. But look at that. 3 elixir advantage now for Naruto.
Yeah. So Collector is down for Naruto, but Chicken Bob took a little bit of damage. And he goes up to 2 collectors.
And he's seen a minor already, so it's interesting he's not playing in the middle. I assume he's playing it on the left side to force Chicken Bob to split up his poisons, but little does he know. Not the perfect rocket though, because if you fire rocket in the first 10 seconds, you take all 7 pumps off before that first pump. If you noticed, there was 1 pump that came off that collector, so that rocket was slightly less value than it could have been. Chicken Bob was waiting towards 10, and I think that was a mistake. I think he should have fired it at 8 or 9 elixir.
Yeah, especially before elixir generation is very quick. It's very difficult to punish 1 elixir.
Yeah, and he already had a pump of his own. I don't know.
Yeah.
Guards there help tie up the mini P.E.K.K.A for a little bit.
Wow, that's really actually that aggro is very interesting and perfect for Chicken Bob. The fact that the bowler is tagged onto the other bowler and the guards are far enough not to get splashed but pull the mini P.E.K.K.A away. Yeah. Great defense.
Now let's see if Uzumaki plays this collector in the middle. He should play in the middle. I don't think he's seen rocket now, so he knows that he can't play it. It's actually safe to play it in the middle now because the rocket can't hit either side and the poison's out of his hand. Yeah. So if he wanted to, he could drop it in the middle, but it seems like he's going for the push instead.
Ooh, interesting positioning for the bowler.
Ooh, this is just this is a horrible matchup, right, for Uzumaki, and we're kind of seeing why. The Inferno Tower is so good against giant bowler pushes, and there's just not really anything in Naruto's deck to help push it. Maybe if he played the Musketeer at the river, like notice how close Chicken Bob is playing those Inferno Towers.
Oh,
maybe this,
interesting.
Ooh, it's a huge opening.
Feels like it'll
huge
hurt.
Opening. So he play the Musketeer at the river. The Musketeer could actually shoot that thing from the river, and instead he opts to play the mini P.E.K.K.A. But the mini P.E.K.K.A is not going to be super.
Wow, actually, the mini
effective.
P.E.K.K.A avoids damage.
But it goes back to the guards, and that is a really key difference there. I actually didn't. I think Uzumaki, when he goes and watches these replays, should really consider that Musketeer by the river against those forward Inferno Towers because it would have chopped it down very quick.
Absolutely. So we'll see. We're in overtime, though, so Rocket is still a few cycles away. And if Chicken Bob doesn't defend well, he could still end up dropping this match.
Right.
We'll see. 972 is not too insurmountable.
Ooh, and getting caught up there with the Ice Wizard. Even if the Musketeer kills that Ice Wizard, that was a great defense. I mean, Chicken Bob's just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah. He just needs to survive so he can get 1 more Rocket and a Poison or
Zap?
a Zap.
I just noticed that this deck runs 3 spells: Zap, Poison, and Rocket. Yeah, I didn't pick that up.
It's cycling.
There was Patriots 34 had a Siege deck as well that ran 3 spells. If you remember, it was like Zap, Lightning, and Log or something like that.
Yeah. Ooh. 1 guard is going to make
just
all
off
the difference.
angle, yeah. Those shields on those guards are really effective. Here comes
the
the rocket for the win. Chicken Bob takes game 1 with that rocket in the sky.
Wow.
Spell cycling.
Rocket Cycle. You know what's funny is we were warned about Turtwig Data's Rocket Cycle deck, and instead we're getting Chicken Bob's Rocket Cycle deck. But remember the double deck format. That deck's out for the round, so he has rocketed his way to 1 win, but now he must play with his alternate deck and try to win with that.
Which is Giant Poison.
It is.
It looks like he's going to
No, it's not. Oh, it is Giant Poison. You're right, but the no collector Giant Poison.
Yeah. So he's going to fight against a collector Giant Poison or Giant Poison Bowler against a no collector Giant Poison Bowler.
Nearly identical decks with a small handful of changes. We're going to go ahead on the red side. Let's put out... Well, let's just put Giant Bowler on each. This is a Giant Bowler mirror match. Let's make sure that we know what cards we are looking at. No Inferno Tower in either deck.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh?
So we're definitely going to be... You know, actually, I think this favors Uzumaki because, again, he has the Elixir Collector, so he can sit back and pump up and force Chicken Bob into the attacks. And with his own Bowler, Musketeer, Poison, of course, he can really shut down those pushes.
Yeah, a big interesting thing is that Chicken Bob in his deck has skeletons.
It's a good point, but what good would skeletons do in this?
Yeah, and that's kind of the key difference here. Why? So the skeletons, I mean, in many ways, skeleton, and it's a very, very loose connection.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a mirror, right? Because you cycle faster for very cheap, so you can get more of your important troops on the field.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, meant to help Chicken Bob get back to his pushes when he wants to, right? You have those moments where you play a giant push and it fails because of an Inferno Tower, and you want to immediately follow up with another Inferno, with another giant push. Skeletons help that. He also has actually really both one-cost cards. He's got both Skeletons and Ice Spirit. Yeah. The downside is with all the bowlers around, I'm not exactly sure how good Skeletons can be because they're just going to get rolled over like the Fire Spirits do.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, if you try to imagine that same situation with Naruto, if he wants to actually get back to his cards that he really wants to aid in the push, he might have to play a 4 elixir thing. He might have to play a collector, right? A 5 elixir thing, and that is very, very different than spending 1 and then being able to play it.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. We'll see if that makes a difference.
You know, hey, great shout out to really both players because we're seeing... Okay, the Super Magical Cup qualifiers have been called some of the hardest small tournaments you're ever going to play in. There's 200 people in them, 150 players, 150, 200 players, and it's just stacked top to bottom with great players. And we're seeing the people who play in a lot of qualifiers, Chicken Bob, Uzumaki, Shreddy Wop, like these people, Bakalo, who we see in all these qualifiers, just really start to dominate the actual invitational scene because they're getting so much good practice against other top players. And while early in the season we saw guys like Trainer Chris, people who've really played in a lot of CMQ, people who've played in a lot of other big tournaments do well, those qualifier grinders are really catching up.
Yeah. They're getting a lot of experience, and they're talking about this stuff in the Discord. They're really discussing strategy, and they're really kind of sharing decks and giving thoughts.
Yeah, so if you want to sign up for the qualifier, Season 2 still has quite a few events left. Make sure to sign up at SuperMagicalCup.com. There's a scroll down, there's a big sign-up button. You're going to get it. You give us your email, and then each week we send an email out with all of the qualifier times, names, and passwords. You just look for them when the time comes, join them, go ahead and play. They fill up pretty slow because, they fill up. They're not announced on a stream or anything. So you can get in. Top 20 players earn Super Magical Cup points to get you here. And oh my God, that mini packet swings once. Swings twice in the
it hits a giant.
The giant is a really good play there to help save that tower, but the swing has just changed a lot. Chicken Bob, who was behind for most of this game, is suddenly now up by 1,000. If you look, that right side tower, that giant that was played is actually getting chopped up, and there's kind of a panic now on Uzumaki to defend that side.
Yeah, the big thing was that Chicken Bob opted to split push once he saw Giant Bowler coming down his left side. He said, you know what, I'm not going to try to squeeze things through that bridge when the bowler is just throwing boulders down it. I'm going to go for the split push.
Uzumaki, great defense. If he took one more giant punch, this game was over.
Yeah.
But he did everything right there. He got a zap out. He got an ice spirit out. He was able to defend and hold that giant off from attacking for about 3 seconds, which is was really critical at this key point in the game.
Yeah. Every single point of damage matters, and here comes another giant. Got to be chopped away, but the poison...
It's not going to get even one swing, but I love knocking him back into the poison. How great is that?
At this point, Chicken Bob is looking for any excuse he can to play a spell.
He just needs a... Oh, Zaps takes it.
Yep.
67 damage. A Zap does 67 damage at tournament cap, so all he needs to do is get back to his Zap, and this game is over. Nice. And he just chooses to poison instead instead of waiting.
Chicken Bob.
Chicken Bob 2-0. A really dominant performance because he's 2-0'd Zadian and now has 2-0'd Naruto Uzumaki to move into the finals.
And shout out to Naruto, like, for what I believe the first or second performance in the Super Magical Cup, all the way to the top 4. Him and Brian RT.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of new faces here. We were really leaning towards Patriots 34 and Zadian at the start because, of course, those are 2 former winners. Both get upset in the top 8 round by relatively new faces. Wow, so let's move into the finals, folks. Tell us in chat, who do you think's going to win? You got Chicken Bob or you got Bakalo? Let's go ahead and update this. Finals. Let's see what's going on in chat real fast.
Oh man!
Wow!
That's a big shout out. Thank you,
Alpha. Oh, hey! Thank you to the Super Magical Cup for making that video on the 4 Horsemen deck guide. Alpha Wolf finally hit top 25 in the qualifiers. I'm positive that he'll be able to play in an invitational someday. Congratulations, Alpha Wolf. That's a great example of tuning into the channel, grinding, trying to get better. We at Super Magical Cup are really trying to improve the communities, their skill, their level. We love Clash Royale and want to see this be just the next future esport. And if you tune into our channel and watch these videos, I promise you'll get better. And we've got, I mean, you can see that the performance of these qualifier players as proof positive that you can get better at this game and defeat some of the best players already.
I couldn't play because 4 cards were the same. That's what Chicken Bob says.
Makes sense.
But it worked out.
So let's pull these things down and move into the finals. Chicken Bob Bakalo. Game 1.
Boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. So, okay. What is game 1?
What it is.
Bakalol's opening up with his trusted double Prince deck. Chicken Bob with his, his rocket cycle, his innovative little rocket cycle deck.
I think this is trouble. For the reasons you identified before, hard to get the princes up to the Inferno Tower if you have enough stopping it. Ice Wizard is a very key card in stopping princes. Zap, very key card. Guard's a very key card. Inferno Tower, great. Then on top of that fact, you have to deal with a bowler splashing your units.
Yes.
And then on top of that fact, you have to deal with rockets coming down on your buildings.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really going to suck is if you try to build up too big of a push behind your tower, it gets rocketed, right? Your mini P.E.K.K.A.s get rocketed, your princes get rocketed, your princesses could theoretically get poisoned and rocketed. So Bakalol's really going to have to play in the front yards, right? Like by the river. And that's kind of where you don't want the princes to be because if they're just over the bridge and the fight just keeps dragging on, the enemy tower is taking a lot of shots. On the other hand, if he can get a clear shot and just take out one Inferno Tower with one of those big charge Prince shots, Chicken Bob's losing a tower. Because the bowler's not going to save you. The bowler's not going to knock those things off the tower.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put Ice Wizard up there because having played a lot of Prince games, man, Ice Wizard might be the key. The Ice Wizard actually survives a Prince charge. And that can be huge in the same way that you just block the charge. He has to wind up and swing a whole other time. A lot of damage gets done between that first and second shot.
Yeah.
Chicken Bob and Bakalo both open with collectors. Ideal for both of them. Bakalo playing it smartly in the center because I'm sure he's seen Chicken Bob's rocket by now. You know what I mean? He's probably been watching the stream, watching the top 4. Ooh, buddy. And no rocket for Bakalo there.
Let's see. Let's see. Inferno Tower is a cycle away.
Ooh, once again, those Ice Spirits. Is it going to get hit? It does get rolled over. And unfortunately, Guards and Bowlers going to stop this push before it begins. And oh wow, the placement of the Princess was just a little too close and gave Chicken Bob a very valuable poison. The big danger with spell decks, and I think it might take the meta about a week or so to adjust if Chicken Bob is to take this finals, is that you really need to space your stuff out. If you never give the spell cycle decks really high, is he gonna make it? He does make it with the zap, and he pushes it down, takes the tower, and there's the Ice Wizard to help slow. 1 shot. 2 shots. It doesn't get the second shot, and I think
big
the 2
connection
shots.
though on the Dark Prince.
You're right though. Dark Prince charge does put him a little bit ahead here.
Does a lot of damage and.
But yeah, if you never give spell cycle decks good openings, the spells are pretty inefficient ways to deal damage to towers, and you can usually get ahead. But whenever a spell cycle deck can get those, zaps, poisons, rockets while hitting anything else of value, that's their recipe to win.
Absolutely. Mini P.E.K.K.A. against the bowler. We'll clean that up.
Let's see if a split push comes down the other lane here. Ooh, with the guards down, it seems like it's a good time for Prince and Dark Prince.
The big curiosity is Chicken Bob only took damage because of an execution failure. His Inferno Tower wasn't close enough to attract both the princes.
Very interesting. I think you pump up here. I don't think you actually want to attack into this fresh print. You want to. It only lasts for 40 seconds. Yeah. So you just bought yourself some time, especially because it's not quite double elixir yet, to sit back and let it go. I wonder if maybe this would be a good time for a prince behind the king tower.
Yeah, I absolutely think so.
I like the princess, actually.
The only thing about this is that the princes move so quick that you're still going to get the value off the Inferno Tower anyways, right? And he cycled to a second one.
Oh, and it hits again, but it doesn't connect with the tower.
It doesn't.
But the bull, oh, wow, and the guards are going to come in there. Does not even get a damage off. 3 pumps now for Chicken Bob. The lack of poison or fireball in this deck is really starting to show because Chicken Bob can just sit back, cycle, pump up a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And
oh my god.
There's only so much Bakalo can do about it.
Wow.
Chooses to hit. It does get it before it gets its first pump, so that's something. He does know that Chicken Bob has an opening here, but not really. He's already back at 10.
Oh no, that's a bad spot for the Inferno Tower. Gets wiped up immediately.
And that bowler's not going to save you.
Yep.
A lot of elixir here, but he's choosing not to commit it. I wonder
where do you push? I think you absolutely, in that situation, you need to push the right side just because of what's on the left side. You don't have the time to wait for that left side push to diminish.
Notice we haven't seen a lot of split pushing this game. I wonder if maybe something that Bakalo could do with this deck is you start your Prince charge behind your right side tower. So if he wants to rocket, it's not really a great rocket, you know.
Yeah. He actually chooses to rocket there, and Bakalo is ahead. He's leaking a lot of elixir, but he becomes ahead by a lot.
Well, not really. I mean, there's 3 pumps on the board, so at some point, even though Chicken Bob might be behind in elixir temporarily, it's not a lot. But with the rocket coming down, he feels safe to drop his thing. Great dodge of the princess. Actually, this is a great opening for Bakalo to make a move here because Chicken Bob has just used his poison.
He has one more
Inferno Tower's on the board. Oh, and it's still going though. Does go down, but that Dark Prince isn't going to really make any headway.
The defensive capabilities of the cards that we mentioned are really starting to show.
And that Ice Wizard is just getting way more than its 3 elixir cost of value. Can the Prince... Oh, the Prince does not reach across the river.
Let's see.
Oh, it does get up there. Oh, and, oh my god, it falls just short from the right side tower shot. Yeah. If that tower had gone down... Ooh, buddy.
Yeah. 537 health and 1 more rocket. I think that's it.
Is that... No, it's the zap. Yeah, with the zap it goes down.
Yeah,
so
rocket
good game.
Cycle.
Ooh.
The defensive structures, I mean, it's very similar to anytime there is the ability to play certain cards in an efficient way to handle defense of any kind of situation.
Yeah.
You can spell cycle, right? That it just enables you to spell cycle because you're never really scared of your opponent pushing through.
Bakalo opts to switch up here, so he is not, I mean, he's not playing his double prince even though he could have stuck with it. He opts to switch over to the Giant Bowler Poison deck. Chicken Bob has to switch decks. And also chooses to go for the Giant Bowler Poison. So we have a little mirror match here in Game 2 of the finals.
Bakalo on the back foot is down 1-0. If he loses another one, he has to take second place.
That's a very ballsy play, I guess, for Bakalo there, because he's obviously so much more familiar with the double print splitting, and he knows that this deck at least is not that same minor control rocket whatever deck. So he's playing a deck that he has less experience with his entire tournament on the line.
We'll have to see. I mean, he's been grinding all week with Giant Bowler. We'll have to see if that's going to help him in the Invitational at all.
Once again, though, I actually think Bakalo might have the favorable matchup, though, of these two because he's got the pump and he's got that Musketeer, and we've seen how good that Musketeer is. Like,
Musketeer is really a big card.
Very underrated in the bowler matchups because she can stand at the river, and while everything's just gummed up and all these bowlers are rolling at each other for like a minute, she's just like, oh, okay, pop, 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 my bowler wins.
From the safety of the bridge.
Yes.
Is the big important part.
Bakalo, very confident that there is not a rocket in this deck, plays his collector right back in there in the corner.
Yep. Let's see. Bakalo had a very hard time getting anything done in the first game. Now is facing elimination.
It's interesting. Last week we had the winner play an Inferno Tower in both decks, and now we have a finalist who has it in neither deck, and then another finalist who has it only in one.
Ooh, 1 punch there.
Seems great, though. And that bowler survives with the tower support. Now, actually, I'm surprised Bakalo didn't play a second pump there. Opts to go with the Giant Bowler. The Ice Wizard on the right side is not going to be able to stop that Giant Bowler push. And I think the bowler getting turned around is really good here.
That's going to get about 4 punches there.
Wow, Chicken Bob's already saying good game.
He has no elixir to play a mini P.E.K.K.A at all.
He must have really gotten behind on that last push.
Yeah. That really hurts. He had no elixir to play for the Giant and just ended up in this really awkward situation where, and that's the big thing with a bowler on defense against a Giant Bowler.
Yeah.
You don't do a lot of DPS. It costs 5 elixir.
Right.
And it doesn't push any of them back, so they're just kind of walking towards their target, continuing to do damage.
Yeah. And while this isn't relevant in this match, it also doesn't hit air, which is why we've been seeing those Lava Hound decks become so popular, right?
Yeah.
You see this, you put a 10 elixir giant bowler push on the field and like,
Yeah.
just doesn't do anything to it.
Good counter push from Bakalo earns him a tower very early on in the match, and now Chicken Bob is playing from the back foot.
However, both of Bakalo's towers have taken over 20% of their starting damage, so they are softened a little bit. And if Bakalo can put together a push on the right side while these left side, elixirs going around, you might see. But that poison is going to stop any. Seems to stop a lot. And here we go, Musketeer again, just popping shots on everything.
Yep.
Or just dancing. Dancing Musketeer. Wow, another big push here on the side.
He can't play aggressive giant, and there he does.
Oh, the bowler. Oh, wow, the knockback.
And again, you're in this situation. He can't even play his Mini P.E.K.K.A, and the giant is already at the tower. He had to play the Ice Wizard, and Mini P.E.K.K.A is still delayed, and the giant is just getting so many swings.
Oh, and the Mini P.E.K.K.A surrounds with a sliver of health.
Oh my goodness.
Chicken Bob, I think, knows that his fate is sealed here in game 2.
30 seconds to do 2 towers. Wow, that poison. Yeah.
We are going to a game 3.
Wow, Bakalo. How can you believe it? The first game, Bakalo ends up losing. The second game, Bakalo's just.
But you know what's even more key here, though? Bakalo is going into game 3, the deciding game of the tournament, with his favorite deck available, right?
Yeah.
So I think he actually might have even been second leveling the strategy here, going, you know what? If I'm going to win, I have to go into a deciding game, and I want my best deck in the deciding game.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to play against Chicken Bob's giant bowler deck. Think about that, too. He knows everything in this deck.
Yeah.
He can look at it, right?
Yeah.
So, he can sort of plan a strategy around of how to do this, but obviously Chicken Bob... I mean, giant bowler is nothing to sneeze at. There's a lot of ways that he can pull that game out.
Absolutely. 1-1 now. Chicken Bob versus Bakalo. I saw a lot of people in the chat saying Chicken Bob. Maybe their decision is changing.
I'm such a Bakalo mark that I just want the double Prince deck to win. I don't even, it might not be the best deck in the format, but it's one of my favorite decks, and Bakalo is such a fun and inventive player to watch. You know who hasn't actually gotten up there is Dark Prince. No, yeah. Chicken Bob's deck, now here's how Chicken Bob can win this game. Right? It may not be the greatest matchup for him by default, but check it out. He has both Ice Spirit and Skeletons and Ice Wizard. Those are 3 things that all really slow and can stop those charges. So while he doesn't have the Inferno Tower, something like Skeleton's Mini P.E.K.K.A can stop a 9 elixir push very easily, almost all on its own.
And really, the interesting thing to identify here is because his other deck had all the cards that would beat Double Prince. He had the guards, he had the Inferno Tower, he had the Ice Wizard, he had all these different cards that would help him deal with the Prince. Now he's had to give up his guards and give up his Inferno Tower.
Yeah.
So he's left in a situation where he has to use Skeletons and Ice Spirits.
Yeah, go ahead and close that door as we get into the finals. Oh my god, game 3 of the finals! This happened last week as well, where the finals went to a game 3. Okay. Bakalo, Chicken Bob, it's come down to this. The Rocket Cycle deck is out for Chicken Bob. That deck has actually not lost yet today, so that deck is a very impressive thing no matter what.
Yeah.
This will come down to Giant Bowler on Chicken Bob's side versus Double Prince on Bakalo's side. Hey, both great, easy names to pronounce, too.
Yeah.
Man. Chicken Bob, Bakalo, I can say both these things. Oh, that seems very minor, but now that princess can get zapped. If that princess was a little bit further back, she would have killed that and survived. Here we go, though. Ooh, the Ice Spirit comes in. Oh, and Cup hits both of them. But no, as you can see, though, right there, that was 6 elixir for Bakalo, 5 elixir for Chicken Bob, and he's now threatening a counterattack.
Yep.
And actually, if he then even takes off a shield, that was actually really good for Chicken Bob.
Yeah, I would say Chicken Bob is pretty happy about that exchange.
But then again, Bakalo gets double duty out of it, right? He both stops the bowler and the Mini P.E.K.K.A for one elixir cost.
All right, Giant at the River, I think, is a freebie.
I don't like Giant at the River against this triple charger deck because everything in their deck fights Giants really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's oh wow, the guards didn't absorb the Ice Spirit and now they walked into the poison. Yeah. That's not very good defense for Bakalo, and that makes a pretty solid. The counterattack's not as good as it could be.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, but the Ice Spirit Mini P.E.K.K.A does make it. At least
so it's 6-4 right now in terms of elixir. 6-4 in terms of elixir. So Bakalo has an opportunity to make something happen, but he still needs to respect the Skeletons and the Zap.
I think the pumping up is smart, and putting it on the far right side is smart so that there's no easy poisons of that side tower. That's one of the main advantages that Bakalo's deck has over the enemy deck is Oh wow, great zap! Oh, and the charge hits the mini P.E.K.K.A. That could be a huge, that could be a game-changing difference in the placement of these games.
This
That
counter
little
push is
minor
going to
one
be
square.
very, very
This
strong.
is a huge counter push because he can put the Dark Prince with it, or the mini P.E.K.K.A, the Princess, Ice Spirit. There's a lot coming in here.
Oh god, the bowler
But
will take down the
Bowler's
Ice
great
Spirit.
job, yeah.
Mini P.E.K.K.A and Prince are doing a lot of damage.
Oh, but it's up there. Is he gonna zap? Maybe no. He opts not to zap.
Look at the elixir advantage right now.
Oh, you're right. I'm surprised Bakalo didn't pump up. This would have been a great time. The Ice Spirit's not gonna do anything, right?
Yeah.
He could have pumped up and been 2 pumps ahead.
So the Giant is going to really
Oh
muck
wow,
things
the
up
poison's
here.
down, so the guards come in. The bowler is not up yet either, so he knows the bowler can't come in. The Ice Spirit freezes the mini P.E.K.K.A as well. Oh my god, this push is starting to run away from Chicken Bob here. This defense is starting to get a little ugly.
Guards soak up the mini P.E.K.K.A damage, and now there's a second Prince, and it might go straight for the tower,
The
actually.
mini P.E.K.K.A hits, and the
and
Prince
it
is
does.
going for it, and it hits it with 30 seconds to go. We got 2
Oh,
Princes
no.
on the tower. The bowler can't knock him back. Bakalo takes it. The double Princes are still working over. Oh my god, Chicken Bob, you have 20 seconds to do 750 damage to the left side tower. Bakalo starts playing his Princes on the tower, even with no
Giant
threats.
is
just
slow.
have
He needs
bodies
to
in the
play
front.
it now. There's no
I think
more
he's letting
time.
it go. I think Chicken Bob knows that his fate is sealed here. And
my
wow, oh my god, great cycling there. Bakalo knew when to do those counter pushes. One of the best split pushing, one of the best counterattacking players I've seen in the last in all of season 2, really, in the last couple weeks. And Bakalo, after top 8ing but never getting into the cash rounds, wins his first Super Magical Cup title with a very underrated, usually not seen deck in Double Prince Charge.
No Lumberjack.
That's right.
He's just
No
using
bowler.
double Prince. Yeah, no bowler.
Well, Giant Bowler on the other list, but you're right. But
Yeah.
this winning list, yeah.
And it's just so amazing to think about, despite the fact that, well, he definitely took advantage of the fact that Chicken Bob didn't have bowler in rotation. Chicken Bob played the Giant at the end, but there was just so much DPS. Double Prince plus the mini P.E.K.K.A is so much damage on the field. Chewed through that Giant, played the second Prince at the end, and that Prince went straight for the tower.
And that was awesome. I mean, those double Princes hammering. You know the bowler wasn't going to save it. As soon as that bowler came down, fate was sealed. Because bowler, low DPS, a lot of elixir I can knock up.
Yeah.
Let's see what chat is saying. Look at this. Chat is going nuts. Anyone like, yeah, I want Bakalo to win, but then you can see it here. Bakalo, guard Chicken Bob. And then at the end, like, oh my god, yes, Bakalo, hype, Double Prince. Oh, that crowd's going wild. I could not be happier for Bakalo. Like,
Yeah.
I'll admit to being a biased spectator here, but I'm so glad that Bakalo took a Super Magical Cup title. I love the Double Prince deck, and it shows that no matter what you might think the meta is, you can always play around it. Shout out to Chicken Bob as well for making it with a deck that nobody really saw coming. Who was talking about Rocket Cycle as of yesterday? You know what I mean? Both players defied the meta, played Giant Bowler as one list, but their other list, their sort of inventive, showing off their deck building skills list, both of them played very different decks from what we've seen normally in the meta and got this far on it. So no matter what you think the best deck might be, there is a way to outthink it. There is a way to combine cards into some deck that matches up well and takes it home.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's not even just Chicken Bob that Bakalo defeated. He had to go through Brian RT, then he had to go through Patriots, then he had to go through every single one of the group stages. So he has consistently won with Double Prince, Giant Bowler every single round of this tournament.
You know what's crazy? Bakalo had to beat two champions, 2 former champions to get here. He beat Justin for the win in the top 16 round and beat Patriots 34 in the top 8 round. So he's beaten not just some top 8ers and other qualifiers, but like 2 winners in order to claim his title. Chicken Bob also had to knock off a winner in Zadian. And yeah, made it here, you know.
Yeah.
Great play all around. I mean, so many recognizable faces and names in this week's tournament, despite a lot of absences. And great decks. I mean, we saw, 2 Giant Bowlers, the Minor Inferno Bowler, right? Actually, let's take a look. Let's pull back into the game view. And let's take a look at these decks here. We've got Giant Bowler and Double Prince. We have a pen anywhere? No, I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Giant Bowler and Double Prince, and then
God.
the Rocket Cycle deck, and then another Giant Bowler.
Yeah.
Right. So 2 Giant Bowlers, a Rocket Cycle, and a Double Prince. Naruto had Giant Bowler, and
I think he played the same one. Yeah.
did he just lose? No, sorry. Then Naruto had. Oops. He didn't play 2 Giant Bowler decks. I know that
No,
much.
he didn't.
He played it. Yeah, he played all those. There it was. It was the 4 horse. No, I'm sorry, it was the 4 horse. It was the
Giant Prince Lumberjack.
Yeah, so he opted instead of the bowler to play the Prince version. So Naruto played 2 giant poison decks. So that's 4 giant poison decks. Maybe this is kind of hurting my argument here.
Yeah.
A minor Inferno and a double Prince. And then who was the other one? Brian RT had minor Inferno, the minor bowler Inferno.
Yep. Very, very popular defensive deck.
Oh, it's so good. And then what was the other one? Wasn't both minor bowler Inferno, right?
No.
No, he had because he lost 2 as well. So we have to go back to his games against Shreddy Wop. Oh, the triple legendary hog cycle. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting little steps. So 2 to 3 minor Inferno decks, or no, 2 minor Inferno decks, 4 giant poisons, 1 double Prince, and 1 hog cycle.
Yeah.
So actually Giant Poison is still pretty much a dominant archetype, but we saw both Prince and Bowler variants on it, and of course Pump and No Pump variants as well.
Yeah, there's slight variance, and the meta is shifting a little bit, and I'd expect the meta to continue to shift bit by bit. Patriots.
Shout out to Patriots. I mean, still playing that Expo Log Lightning deck that I think this is a great deck. If you haven't played this in tournaments, it's so much fun. It takes a long time to learn. I tried to pick it up and it didn't quite work for me, but if you are willing to kind of commit to it and learn it, it's a very, very cool deck. Patriots is probably one of the best lightning players in the game. He sees lightnings that I just don't see. I would not lightning these situations, then he does it, and later on you're like, oh, that was really good, actually.
Yeah. Interesting to see that surviving in the meta where Giant and Bowler are becoming very popular. Big bodies where the Expo gets mucked up for a long time, but Patriots makes it work. Obviously didn't make it to the top 8, but made it very, very far. Oh yeah.
He also had Minor Inferno. Trainer Chris was running the Minor Inferno as well. Wow, Minor Inferno might be the best tournament deck out there, which kind of leads an argument to taking away that 6% hit point that they gave. They buffed it a little bit because they thought the Zap nerf would hurt it, but it's still an incredibly strong card.
It just really, really goes to show how important the meta is. A lot of people talk about, this card is too strong numerically or that card is too strong numerically, but, at the end of the day, much more than numbers is just the effect and kind of the roles that cards play, right? Inferno Tower makes a lot of sense in the current meta, and we saw somebody play Cannon, and we saw kind of how ineffective it was, right? It's not the right card for the right situation, and if it is the right card for the right situation, it's going to be used a lot, especially considering that right now in Clash Royale there's so few cards to pick from relatively that there's only one Musketeer. There's only one kind of card that's a bowler, right? There's no other tower that is like the Inferno Tower, right?
And that's going to make, I think, the game so much more interesting, especially our double deck format, as more cards get added to the game, because as they become more parallels. Think about the last update of cards. They added Lumberjack, and they added Bowler. Well, now, after these buffs and stuff, Lumberjack is kind of another mini P.E.K.K.A., which has given a lot of variety to decks that want to use mini P.E.K.K.A. or a card like that. Bowler is like another Wizard, Witch, Sparky sort of card, and it's opened up a lot of decks with that sort of thing. Poison is equivalent to Fireball, and that was a card that was added after launch. That eventually people will be able to play 2 of the same strategy by switching out lots of lateral cards. We saw that already with Uzumaki running Giant Bowler and then the Giant Prince, which is really just another Giant Poison kind of deck.
Yeah. Look at how much damage this deck can put out. It's really a lot about just overloading damage onto your opponent's side of the field. And this is a game-winning push here.
That Ice Spirit hitting that 3 Musketeer was huge. Or the mini P.E.K.K.A. The Ice Spirit hitting the mini P.E.K.K.A. might have been the difference in the entire game.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Twice, both defensively
and really
aggressively.
The Prince charge on the mini P.E.K.K.A. on defense, too. There were 2 key moments where Chicken Bob's mini P.E.K.K.A.s failed him.
Yeah.
And
which, is interesting to think about the differences between Lumberjack and mini P.E.K.K.A. that we briefly talked about in the stream, but to think about faster attacking with slightly lower damage as opposed to slower attacking with slightly higher damage, right? What is the flexibility of that?
Absolutely. Woo, buddy. So that is going to wrap up this stream. Do not forget to follow us on... Actually, let's go ahead and switch that one up. Let's go ahead and put the little thinger back up. Bracket. We'll take the bracket down. We're going to hype up our social medias.
I think it is the Invitational card. Oh, you want to do the social media information?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably in
I think it's right. Nope, up. One of these. Nope, up. Yeah, I'm dumb. I don't remember where these things are. Here they are. Ha! There it is. Yeah. So make sure to check us out on Twitter. Follow us here on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're putting out a significant number of videos now, certainly more than we used to. We're one of the fastest growing YouTube channels in this Clash Royale community right now. History of the metagame, where you can see the history of past balance updates. We push a new tournament game tournament match every single day from past Super Magical Cup. So if you missed any match or you just want to rewatch games, you can do that on our channel. We push the full tournament footage out, which is also super useful. Yeah. And what else? We got the Best Deck Ever series.
Best Deck Ever. And
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, more stuff to come. Definitely help support our YouTube channel and kind of comment on our videos and watch them and share them with your friends. Share the Super Magical Cup with your friends. We're really trying to grow Clash Royale competitive and grow the Super Magical Cup and make sure that the scene remains healthy competitively, at least within our space, and kind of share that with the other players to let them understand the depth and really the competitive merit of Clash Royale as a game.
Absolutely. So let's also make sure to announce the prizes, of course. Bakalo doesn't just walk home with 500 Super Magical Cup points and pretty much secure his spot in the Season 2 championship, but Bakalo walks home with $200 in Amazon gift cards. Chicken Bob is not going home empty-handed. His rocket has earned him $100 of Amazon gift card credit. And congratulations to Naruto Uzumaki and Brian RT for each getting $50 in Amazon gift credit. Buy yourself something nice.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll see hopefully all 4 players in the Season 2 championship.
So, week 8 of the Super Magical Cup comes to a close. Make sure you are signed up to our newsletter and our emails and registered for Season 2 if you want to play in the qualifiers. That email goes out Monday, PST, Monday, containing all the tournament information, the tournament names, passwords, times, everything you need to know to get yourself involved playing in the open qualifiers, and then maybe you too one day will be playing in the Invitational, much like Alpha Wolves.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks, everyone. We're going to stick around and chat for a little bit longer and answer some questions. I see some questions have backed up in chat. We'll go offline and talk a little bit in chat, but who should we throw a host to? I want to see if the Toronto tournament's
Toronto's live.
If the Toronto tournament's live, I think we got to send a host over to them because that is the biggest North American tournament to date.
Yeah. And sounds like a ton of fun. Go ahead and click Clash Royale.
Yeah. Patriots shouldn't have lost to Bakalo. Well,
damn.
I don't see it live. I think it's going to be, maybe today is the live qualifiers, and I think tomorrow might be the actual finals, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw a host over to Phone Cats. We'll be in chat talking. So if you have any questions, make sure to ask them now right after the stream, and we'll see you fine folks another day.
Yeah. See you guys.
Next week's noon Saturday. Next week. See you there.
Malkid was kicked from Super Magicals?
No, I think he just quit.
What's the point of even being in a clan with the same name if I'm going to be kicked with no info?
Huh?
Just tweet out to us.
Wait, what's the point of even being in a clan with the same name if I'm going to be kicked with no
info?
Oh my god, did he get booted? Oh, I think he probably got booted because he didn't submit his decks in time. Our admin booted a whole bunch of people. And actually, we got to stop streaming. And I remember what's his name got in.